Hey, Becca, will you make sure I'm not cut off?
All right, everybody, we're going to go ahead and get started. If everyone wants to take their seats. Okay. All right. I'm not chopped off or anything. Okay. I want to welcome everyone to the Winter 2021 Freedom Cell meeting. Maybe we'll try to make this an annual thing for every season, or maybe every month. I don't know. My name is John Bush, and I'm the co-founder of the Freedom Cell Network. Lived in Austin, Texas my whole life. Just moved out to Bastrop County. Where are my Bastrop County people? Woo! All right, my fiance, yeah. And our dog. So, this is the Central Texas Freedom Cell community, which encompasses Travis County and the surrounding counties, and we'll stretch it as far as we need to, whoever wants to be a part of our lovely movement here. I also want to welcome the audience there on the live stream from all over the world, posted around on Telegram. So we're going to be talking a lot about some happenings here in Central Texas, but we're also going to be sharing some advice and strategies on how people can grow the Freedom Cell Network in their area, whether it's Wimberley or San Antonio or Bastrop or Phoenix or Australia. There's some Freedom Cell folks down under. Man, we got to send our love out there. There's even a Freedom Cell group in North Korea. It was on the map on the freedomcells.org website for like a few days, and then the map, and then the dot disappeared. I'm just kidding. There was never a dot there. There could be. There's like a Libertarians for Freedom in North Korea group. They don't live in North Korea, but. Okay, so today on the agenda is, I'm going to talk a little bit about the Live Free Academy empowerment philosophy. And I kind of want to set the tone for everyone, a tone of empowerment, so we can feel comfortable manifesting the life and the community and the society that we all desire. And then we're going to talk about the Freedom Cell Network, what it's all about, how it works, and I want to share some tips and strategies, as I said, on how we can grow the Freedom Cell Network. And then I want to announce a big goal, a big sexy goal that I have for this community and for our network here that will really help. What's that?
Is everything you do sexy or something? Is that what you're saying?
I think it'll really help accelerate and improve our chances of finding freedom and protecting us from this tyrannical technocratic onslaught we're all facing. Yeah, and then I want to kind of facilitate a conversation amongst all of us and get some folks to share some of the projects they're doing, some of the stuff they're doing in their neck of the woods. Maybe we can bring up some of the organizers and leaders from some of the local cells that are here, and just kind of have a conversation and see what we can do to collaborate on solutions. Cool?
Cool.
Cool. All right. How's everybody in the live stream audience?
Yeah.
How they doing, Rebecca?
You got 19.
19? All right. Okay, so like I said, I want to share a little bit about the Live Free Academy empowerment philosophy. So Live Free Academy is a business that I started in April, and the goal is to help people find freedom in their lives in the areas of entrepreneurship and financial independence, also decentralization and cryptocurrency, and exit and build strategy. Oh, also I want to share about some really cool events that we have coming up, like the Greater Reset 3. Who's going to be here in this group, the Greater Reset 3? Yeah, get away. We're going to have Joel Salatin in person. That's pretty cool. That's the man.
In Central Texas?
Here in Central Texas, on this stage, in the flesh. We'll be able to smell him. We just got done working at the farm. There's B-Rad. Give it up for B-Rad, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah. All right. Okay, so Live Free Academy, right? It's a business. We do online educational workshops. We host events, all sorts of good stuff. The Exit and Build Land Summit that we just did recently in LaGrange was hosted by Live Free Academy with the support and help of the Central Texas Freedom Cell Network and some really great organizers. But, you know, for many years now, I've been focused on success in business, success in fatherhood, success in being a lover,
Huh?
Success.
That
Being a partner, a loving partner, is what I should say. And success in the pursuit of freedom, right? The pursuit of freedom has been something that has always been really important to me. And in that time, I've really studied a lot of these big gurus and Tony Robbins of the world, and Grant Cardones, and all these folks that are really focused on business success and marketing strategies. And I've taken a lot of what I've learned and applied it to the pursuit of freedom. So I want to share that with you. There's this 4-part empowerment philosophy I want to share with you to kind of set the stage for what we're going to discuss today and some of the goals that we're going to lay out. There's 4 pieces, 4 elements. The first piece is mindset. And again, this is a philosophy or a framework that we can utilize in order to find success in all areas of our lives. And I'm going to relate it to our pursuit, which I believe to be our common pursuit here, which is the pursuit of freedom. Give it up for freedom. Let's get these crowds pumped up with that. Give it up for freedom, yes! Give it for Joe Biden! Let's go, Brandon! My little nephew was saying that one day when we were over at his place for like Thanksgiving. He's like, let's go, Brandon. You don't even know what that means. Don't say that. And later my kids were like, what does that mean, Dad? Like, let me tell you. They're like, yeah, Joe Biden's a real piece of shit. Pardon my French for the kiddos in the audience. It's true, though. It's true. Piece of crap. He's a piece of crap. Oh, right. We live in a clown world, right? Where all the presidents are just like total bozos, one after another. I guess Trump was kind of cool, but kind of authoritarian too. But then some of them still a stooge. But whatever. He was funny at least. Told a lot of great jokes. Gave the establishment a hard time. The whole fake news thing. That was cool. All right, anyway, I digress. Let me digress one more time. How many people, if this is your first Freedom Cell meeting? Let me see a show of hands. All right, now we're talking. Give it up for the new folks. Super excited to see this community growing. In fact, before the pandemic thing that we've been experiencing a little bit, some people experience it more than others. Others are like, life's just been going on just about the same, except for all the weird faceless people I see at the grocery store. No. Before the pandemic, there was about 1,000 people registered on the Freedom Cells website, freedomcells.org. Now, there's like 29,000. Which leads me to believe that the technocrats and the enemies of liberty are the best players on our team. It's like this, what's that law? There's a law where it's like every action has an equal and opposite reaction. It's like a yin and yang thing. It's really great. It's going down. So, super excited about that. And I want to welcome all the new folks, and I hope that you get networked and connected with the folks here. Who all is on the Central Texas Telegram group? Cool. All right, good. That's great. Telegram's great. We do a lot of organizing there. Super excited. Who's all on the website, freedomcells.org? Cool. Okay. A little more on Telegram. Okay, great. All righty. So, back to this Academy empowerment philosophy. First piece is mindset. I think that success in life has to do with mindset, fundamentally, foundationally. Nothing is more important in my opinion. When I speak of mindset, I really talk about believing in ourselves above all else, believing and having faith in our ability to get things done, having faith in our ability to live the life of our dreams, right? And so when it comes to the pursuit of freedom, I want us all just to center in and recognize the fact, not the possibility, not some distant, hopeful thing, but the fact that we are going to find freedom in our lives. And that as free, sovereign human beings, we deserve better than this institution known as the state. We deserve better than the city government here in Buda and Austin especially. We deserve better than Brandon up in Washington, D.C. And I think it's up to each and every one of us to make that commitment to ourselves with a really high level of certainty that we are going to accomplish our goals when it comes to peace and freedom. Can everybody do that with me? Yeah. Just commit and believe in yourself? Sure. Right. Every day. That's right. It's all about mindset. I'm a big believer in the law of attraction. Who are my law of attraction people? Okay. All right. There's some people who are like, that's Satanism. You know, there's people that think yoga is Satanism. It's a thing. I don't know what's going on there. That downward dog, you're worse than the devil, you're getting close to saving himself. Get in that pose. Care if you're stretching and get closer to enlightenment. So the law of attraction is really important to me, and when it comes to all the crazy stuff that we're experiencing in the world, I want to challenge everyone to really focus in on the beauty and freedom that we all experience in our lives on a day-to-day basis. Because really, at the end of the day, a significant amount of time that we're living and the decisions that we make are all made in total freedom, right? Jerry, you got the taxes, and the stop sign, and the property tax, all that nonsense, right? But most of the time when we're making a choice, it's a choice that we're making of our own free will, of our own volition. It's based on our own human action and our own decisions, right? And so I'm going to encourage people to really focus on that. There's a lot of darkness that's going on in the world with all these mandates and economic problems and this transitory inflation. It's just passing by. Sorry about that. It really affects the rich people more than the common man in America, of course. I saw Elizabeth Warren had this tweet, and she's like, we need to regulate these corporations that are raising prices in an opportunity like this and how they're exploiting everybody. Maybe cut down on your spending a little bit, triple the belt there. But with all the crazy stuff going on in the world, and this creepy great reset, and all this technocracy and surveillance society, and people losing their jobs and all sorts of stuff, if you focus on that, and if you spend a significant amount of your time researching on the internet and watching scary, dark documentaries and stuff, then that's going to be your reality, right? In fact, there's probably a correlation between your happiness and how free you feel and the amount of time that you spend researching the New World Order on the internet, I would say, right? There's a lot of folks that are like, we're totally screwed. They're around the corner. There's probably feds at your meeting. I see him right now. That guy in my car, I know he's a fed. He's been a fed since the 2007 Ron Paul campaign. Been to his house. And his kids even, they're in on it too. But they're like, I'm not going out, there's feds, they're gonna get you. And it's like, you need to lay off the naturalnews.com. That's one of the things, a little clickbaity. But for real, if you spend your time on the computer and debating online and arguing with people on social media and annoying your family on Thanksgiving, talking about all this crazy stuff going on, then you're probably not gonna feel very free. And you're not really gonna attract a lot of free people to your world. You're gonna attract a lot of scared people, a lot of anxious people. If you spend more time meeting with beautiful people like we have in this room, or getting your hands dirty in the garden, or homeschooling your children, for example, or going to the water park, or just enjoying life in general, being out in the sun, then you're probably going to feel a little more free. You're going to have more freedom in your life. So there's really a big perspective, and it's all about what we choose to focus on. So I kind of want to share that with you and encourage folks to really lean into the solutions. In fact, when a problem arises in your life, or when it comes to freedom versus tyranny, let's try not to see it as a problem, rather try to search for whatever solutions could arise. Because that's what the Freedom Cell Network is all about. It's all about solutions. In fact, on Telegram, when people are like sharing news and articles, people just love to share articles. You ever notice that? It's time to move beyond the sharing of articles and focus a little bit more on building and doing and creating, right? Because like, honestly, I realized this after the Ron Paul campaign in 2008. There's enough of us that believe in freedom right now, where if we were to just get organized, we could truly opt out and insulate ourselves from all this crazy stuff. So there's value in recruiting people and waking people up, especially if they want to hear it. There's not value in banging your head against the wall and annoying your family until they disown you. I can't tell you that much. But there are definitely enough of us where they're like, my family just disowned me. I think there's already enough of us where if we just find the other people that think like we do and can kind of see through the facade, and we work together with them on opting out and building alternative institutions, then I think we can find freedom possibly in our lifetime. If not in our lifetime, in those little ones' lifetimes.
I'm free, baby.
Eric has been free for many years now. All right.
Decades.
That's right. So, mindset. It's all about mindset. Get your mind right. Try to have control over that voice that we have in your head. Who's got that voice in their head? Right? It's always like, what are you doing? You're embarrassing yourself up there. They're not laughing with you, they're laughing at you. I quieted that voice a long time ago, believe me. So, but we all have doubts, insecurities, and oftentimes we're like working against ourselves. Anybody have that sometimes? Where like they're their own worst enemy, and they're like standing in the way of really cool stuff that they could be doing. A lot of times we've been programmed from our parents, from the media, from our friends, from the high school bullies. There's a lot of ugly things that may have been said to us when we were younger, or maybe last week from a significant other, an ex-lover, and a lot of times people internalize that stuff and it sticks with them. So I want to encourage people through the practice of mindfulness, which is really just being present in the moment, and just being centered and not worrying about things or over-analyzing things. The practice of mindfulness, we can really learn to control that voice that we have in our head. And anytime it starts sowing seeds of doubt, or you'll never make it on your own as an entrepreneur, you have a comfortable job, you should just stick with that job, there's too much risk involved. Just like, shut up. I believe in myself. Went to that meeting last night. John Bush was on point. Said to believe in himself and commit. I'm committed now, right? I want to encourage people to quiet that nasty voice and to empower a voice that really lifts us up and empowers us. So really, mindset is really the foundation when it comes to the pursuit of wealth, healthy relationships in our world, a great abundant garden, and a free society. Freedom personally and freedom as a group here. But we can't just stop at mindset. You know, there's a lot of law of attraction people. They're like, wealth and abundance, wealth and abundance. I'm out of debt. I have $20,000 in the bank account. $20,000 in the bank. Out of debt. There's the money. Not this law of attraction thing. We're supposed to manifest my wildest dreams. No. That's why we have to have the law of attraction, but we got to have the right strategy. We got to know how to get from here to there. And that's why the second part of the Live Free Academy empowerment philosophy is strategy. I like to think of strategy when I think of strategic terms. I think of how do we get from here to there, answering that question, right? So if here is $45,000 a year salary, and there is $145,000, or better yet, $450,000 a year, 10x that stuff. Then the question is, how do we get from here to there? What do we need to do? What kind of business do we need to operate? What kind of raise do we need to ask for? What kind of sales do we need to have? What does our commission need to be? So on and so forth, right? But in the context of freedom, if here is like this weird tyranny, and like everyone's divided against each other, and there's all this group thing, this race versus that race, and this party versus that party, and the vaxxed versus the unvaxxed, and the maskers and the anti-vaxxers, and whatever. Maxers? Mix it all together. It's all a big mess anyway. And the whole mask hole thing.
Mask hole.
So who's the mask hole? Am I a mask hole for not wearing a mask? And everyone else around me is? Or are they mask holes for wearing one while they're driving all alone? I don't know. I'm a mask hole. Or the COVIDians. Am I COVIDian because I don't wash my hands religiously all crazy? You know, when this whole COVID thing first started, I didn't really know what to think. Even though I've been like a conspiracy theory guy for 20 years, I would wash my hands a lot. Not with alcohol, with colloidal silver. But I'd like get out and pump gas, and then I'd get back in the car and spray my hands with colloidal silver. And one day I realized, what the hell am I doing? This is really weird. You think the virus is like creeping all around every single place you go. In reality, viruses are creeping all around every place we go all the time. They're everywhere. And in fact, they make up a significant portion of the body mass that we have. So we shouldn't really fear them because in many ways, this guy, Zach Bush, he's a doctor, he thinks that viruses are genetic upgrades, opportunities to enhance our human physiology. So anyway, a strategy. How do we get from here to there? So here is a tyranny. Is everyone familiar with this Great Reset thing that's going on?
Yeah.
Is anybody not familiar?
No.
Tell about it.
I don't want to know.
Just ignore it. Screw it. Well, there's a lot of evil people in this world, very evil, powerful people, the oligarch class, and they're pursuing like a transformational shift in the world where everyone is surveilled throughout their lives, where you have to ask permission to do basic things, where there's a social credit score, right? The social credit score thing going on in China, that's spreading to the West, Canada, Great Britain. And I think this whole vaccine passport thing is a huge part of the agenda, and they want that infrastructure to be in place so they can attach the social credit score to it, right? Well, We have the traditional tyranny like the war on drugs, the foreign wars of oppression, income tax, all this crazy regulatory stuff. But now we have this new technocratic tyranny, which is really concerning. And basically the goal is to create this panopticon society, right? So that's where we are here, right? Or are we not there? Maybe I should take my own advice. We're not there. We're over here, living life with total freedom, right? But the there that I would like to see us go is to create an environment where we're all able to live our lives according to our own ends and values. And we can peacefully cooperate with one another. And we live in harmony with our fellow human beings. And we live in harmony with the earth. And we get our food from local communities, from our garden. Our kids grow up homeschooling together, raised peacefully. We all have our own entrepreneurial ventures, and we work for one another, and we work with one another. We have our own closed economic system, a counter economy, so to speak. That's the system that we're building with the Freedom Cell Network. And that's the system that I'm super excited for all of you to be a part of it. And if you're just kind of getting your toes wet a little bit, I invite you to dive all the way in and join us. So when it comes to the strategy of the Freedom Cell Network and the Greater Reset, that's our counter to the Great Reset. We're going to be hosting the Greater Reset free in this room on January 26th through the 30th. Only 50 tickets left. Verify. TheGreaterReset.org. Buy right now. So our strategy is what we like to call exit and build. Okay, exit and build. A lot of people like to get involved in politics. There's a whole lot of people that are like, we got to reclaim our status. We got to call the Department of Treasury, withdraw our account or something like that. I don't know. There's all this like sovereign citizen stuff too. That's another strategy. There's people that want to overthrow things and destroy things. There's like a destruction strategy. Well, the strategy of exit and build is simply exiting those institutions that we find to be antithetical to our values, to our well-being, and building alternatives, right? Exiting the centralized, coercive, and corrupt systems and building the decentralized, voluntary, and just systems. Exit and build. And for me, what exit looks like is completely opting out, reaching a point where none of us are contributing to our own oppression through the oppressive income tax, or where we can actually own our property instead of just renting it with the property tax we have here in Texas, right? Like true freedom, where we're doing our own thing and we have an autonomous community that isn't under the authority of the man, right? That's what it means for me to exit and to build an alternative. But a lot of people got the 401k, they got the kids in the government school, they got a mortgage going on, and so the idea of just opting out like that seems a little, I don't know about that, it seems kind of risky. I agree. That's why I encourage us, some people already exited, like old Derek Rose, that it's like, what are you guys waiting on? Come on, let's go. I'm gonna close my PayPal account, that's one of my last little steps, no more PayPal. You're gonna have to mail me cash. I do a lot of business with Derek, I'm like, there we go, I'm gonna mail $500. But that's where cryptocurrency comes into play. In fact, the very first Bitcoin transaction I ever did was like back in 2014. Derek Rose was writing for the Liberty Beat, this radio news service. Anybody remember the Liberty Beat?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Your daily source for Liberty News, back to the 70s. Today's Bitcoin price is $375. I mean, it used to be back in the day. But anyway, Derek's like, I don't have a checking account, dude, I'm an agorist. And I'm writing for you for these articles. And I was like, well, how do I pay you? So I was going to the HEB on Slaughter and wiring him money with Western Union. And not only did I have to wait in line for like 20 minutes, but I paid 7%. That was terrible. So I was like, we're always talking about Bitcoin. I'm a big fan of Bitcoin. We say the Bitcoin price every day. Why don't I buy some Bitcoin and send it to you instead? That was the first Bitcoin transaction I ever did. But Derek's a total agorist, and he's like, he hadn't paid taxes in a while. I think a little while he used to be like, kind of hush-hush about that. And now he's like, I haven't paid taxes in years. Who's going to join me? What are you waiting for? Come on. Maybe I'll say that someday. Not today. I'm a good citizen. Okay, so Derek already exited, right? And now he's building. But for those of us that maybe have a little skin in the game or got 401k thing going or whatever, what we're going to do is we build these alternatives. We set up the alternative economies. We become entrepreneurs. We employ one another. We support one another. We pull our kids out of the government schools. We build so we can exit, right? Exit and build, or build and exit. And that's exactly what we're trying to do with the Freedom Cell Network, and that's what we're promoting with the Greater Reset. That's what we promoted with the Exit and Build Land Summit. Who was at the Exit and Build Land Summit there in LaGrange? All That was great. So it's all about exiting the big cities, the authoritarian, technocratic, smart cities, and building communities and buying land out in the country, right? It's part of the exit and build strategy. So we got our minds correct, right? We're all feeling all good and abundant and like we accomplish all our goals in one night. We got the right strategy, exit and build. We're not begging politicians to do the right thing. We're not going and screaming at buildings or rushing the Capitol. I bet that did. The insurrection. Boy, CNN loves to parrot that. We stayed at the hotel this weekend and I was like, all right, let's see what's on TV. Remember TV, Rebecca? Like CNN, and they're like, the documentary of the January 6th insurrectionists. They're still out there. You need to be afraid. They desecrated our democracy. And then the conservatives are like, they took our jobs, they took our president. The election was a fraud. It's like every freaking election is a fraud. In fact, the entire institution of government is a fraud. What are you guys talking about? If only our guy was in power, then we'd be free. We can do whatever we want. It feels good when our guy's in power. Just like when the Dallas Cowboys score a touchdown. It feels good. Yeah. All right. We got our minds correct. We got our strategy down. Exit and build, or build so we may exit. The next step is to find like-minded human beings so we can cooperate together on our common goals. And that's what the Freedom Cell Network is all about. So, I heard there's some folks from Wimberley here in the house. Give it up for the Wimberley crowd! Some folks from San Antonio. Woohoo! Remember the Elmo! All right. Any Hill Country folks? Wimberley's Hill Country too, yeah? St. Marcus? St. Marcus in the house. Remember St. Marcus? Bastrop County! Yeah! All right. They snuck in, the Bastrop folks. They had to finish roping up some Broncos. I love Bastrop. It's so nice to be out of Austin, I gotta tell you. Every time I go and see and there's traffic, it's like, okay, this is my road. But back to the mindset. I used to sit in traffic all the time, and instead of being like, I hate this flight, it's so terrible, I'm so terrible. I'd be like, well, now I have a great opportunity to listen to some educational audiobooks and enhance my mind. I'm so grateful for this traffic. I love Austin. It's about perspective, I tell you what. That's really what I would think. But sometimes I'm like, it's very breaking right now. Okay. So, one cool thing about Austin, I don't see a lot of police anymore. Was that the defund the police thing?
Yeah.
They're like, it's a communist agenda. I'm like, maybe we should defund the freaking police. Wow, they locked me up a couple times in this town, those jerks. I was found not guilty most times. All right, I digress. In case you haven't noticed, sometimes I just let thoughts flow. There's not really a filter. It just comes out. So, all right, we got the strategy. We got the mindset strategy. Now we're talking about building teams. And the Freedom Cell Network is a vehicle that we built in order to help facilitate bringing people together. I think I take it for granted. Check. Hey, yeah, woohoo! I take it for granted because I've been doing this for like 19 years, but there's a lot of people that just woke up recently, especially with all the COVID stuff. Has anybody just been red-pilled or come into this stuff maybe in the past 2 years? Show of hands. Yeah? These guys are like veterans, man. They're like, we were marching on LBJ, the Vietnam War. Where you guys been? But I think it's very important for us to have that human connection with one another because the world's really going nuts. It's going to hell in a handbasket. And there's just a sense of relief and brethren and community that's so powerful and so strong. And really what we're trying to do with the Freedom Cell Network is create some leverage. So through the strength in numbers that comes from getting like-minded people together on a unified front, we can exit and build, and we can do so peacefully, right? But it's not just about this big grand picture grand vision of building a free society. It's about folks getting more healthy by adopting organic food lifestyle and natural health and sharing advice with one another and getting together and praying or getting together and meditating. It's about creating connections with families so people feel more comfortable with the transition from government school to homeschooling or a homeschool cooperative, right? It's about just being there to support one another when people are feeling stressed out. about going to the gun range together. Woo! Getting all fired up. Right? Yeah, Texas. Yeah. It's weird because the Freedom Cell Network's a global thing on our website. It used to say like, we have 4 goals for the Freedom Cell groups when they get together. Have months, like 2 months of food storage. It used to be 2 weeks of food storage. Then it was like 2 months. And then we're like, holy crap, we've tapped into our food storage twice last year. Wow. Maybe we need 6 months worth of food storage. Ideally, you have a garden that's just constantly replenishing food, right? Give it up for our bok choy we picked and cooked for breakfast the other day. Love me some bok choy. I told Becca, like, let us not be so busy that we can't even eat our own food in the garden, and it just gets too big and goes bad. All right, so lost my train of thought. It happens sometimes. The 4 things that we share with the Freedom Cell groups: food storage, having encrypted communication or off-grid communication. Where are my ham radio operators in the room? There's a handful of you. A handful of you. There they are.
You're the ham.
What's that? CB radio, ham radio. All right, CB radio. Just like off-grid communication, because we're all so damn dependent on our cell phones. Remember when Facebook went down recently? It like went down for a while and everybody freaked out. Well, a bunch of people migrated from WhatsApp to Telegram, and then Telegram went down because it was overwhelmed. I actually felt kind of vulnerable with Telegram not being there, because that's how I connect with all my people. So I do a lot of business stuff too, and I was like, oh, wow, this is kind of scary. Is this part of the plan? They're gonna round us up right now. We can't talk to one another. I think we need to bring back the good old phone tree, where it's like your little group of 8 connects with this group and this group. We don't call each other and check on each other. It's all good. Or we can go, what if we all just lived on the big 1,000-acre property and created our own free city?
Yeah.
In Bastrop County. Bastrop County. Right. We can have multiple free cities all around. All right, so still working through those 4 things. Thanks, Marina. Keep going. These ladies hold me accountable here at our group. All right, so we got food, we got the off-grid communication. Everyone should have a bug-out plan, right? Whether it's you guys all bug out together, the Freedom Cell group, your little inner cadre of 8, or each person has a plan. We just make sure everyone has a plan. We can check in on one another, right? And then the 4th goal was everyone should have access to firearms and know how to use them safely and proficiently. But because we had that on our website, Dr. Mercola backed out of being on the Greater Reset. And there's people in other countries that are like, I can't believe you have that on a website. I feel like I'll get in trouble for joining this group. We're not allowed to have firearms in our country. So back to the mindset thing, you know, it may seem like we're living in a totalitarian hellhole, but we do have quite a few freedoms in this country, and especially in this great state here in Texas. So let's never take that for granted. Let's always focus on gratitude for what we do have rather than lack of what we don't have. Because that which we focus on, we manifest more of. So let's manifest more freedom and more guns. Yeah! So, that whole digression was because people got upset and a little bit afraid to talk about firearms, but I think firearms are important. Safely, efficiently using them in defense of ourselves, our family, and our community. So one day when we exit, you know, and they're like, your guy didn't pay his property tax, or I don't think it'll ever reach this point in this state, thankfully, but it's like, your kid's not vaccinated and everybody's got to be vaccinated. And we're just like, no, right? Some of us have a little pistol on the side. It's got an AR-15 strapped across our chest. Some of us are knitting little booties. Some booties for the kids. And the kids are like, no, you're not going to do this. No. Everyone else do that with me. Ready? The bureaucrats, the authoritarians, the mandates. There's 2 letters, 1 word we can all say that's so empowering. Let's say it together. No! One more time. No! No! Right? That's all it takes. Enough people. We don't need to go lobby into Congress or get someone elected. We all just need to get together and say, no! Ah, it feels good. Okay, so Freedom Cell Network, that's what it's all about. The 3rd component is bringing people together and working together with like-minded people to accomplish our common goals. Any pursuit that we have in our lives is going to be made much more simple and much more accomplishable when we're working together with like-minded people. And that's what the Freedom Cell Network is all about. It was an idea that sprang in my head back in 2014. because I was thinking like, wow, there's all these voluntarists, because I was around for like the evolution. First, we were all truthers back in the day here in Austin. We were, 9/11 was an inside job. Back then, we would pass out DVDs. I thought about doing that for like COVID-19 or the Plandemic movie, you know? And I was like, do people still have DVD players? Is that like my dad's Beta? Like, what's going on? DVDs? The jump drives. I was like, let's price out the jump drives. That's kind of cost prohibitive. Too expensive, but we could do it. But it was like the 9/11 truth thing and then the anti-war thing. And I thought I was a Democrat for a little while because it was Bush's war. And I was like, let's get John Kerry in office. Him and Nancy Pelosi will end the wars. And then the Democrats took over the House and the Senate, and they expanded the war. And so I was like, this left-right thing, it might be a scam. Right? And then a lot of people learned about Ron Paul, and it was like the liberty movement, and we need to restore the Republican Party. I was like, yeah, maybe I am a Republican. Wow. And then we went to the Republican convention in Houston. These guys were there. And like I just saw this total bogus nonsense. So I marched up and down the aisle with a sign that said "In the Fed, in the income tax." Yeah. You can't do that in here, sir. But I'm an alternative delegate. Yes, I can. Anyway, so then the libertarians were like, maybe we don't need government. Right? It was like minarchists to anarchists, voluntarists, right? So it was around this time, I'm like, wow, there's all these people that don't believe in government, but we all need the government. What's that? What are we missing here? And that's where I kind of came to this strength in numbers idea. Right? So we started a Freedom Cell group on this homestead, this 2.5-acre homestead I used to live on where my kid was. Give it up for home births! For the home birth kids! Yeah. About kids with no social security numbers. My kid don't have them. My 2 kids. I'm like, they're never even going to be in their little bullshit system. That's my goal. Pardon my French, sorry. That's the goal, yeah. They do have passports, though. So I guess they're citizens. That's like, as long as it's freaking income tax, don't let them in that game, right? And then we didn't sign a birth certificate. We had a licensed midwife. The licenses are where they get you. We had an amazing licensed midwife. And we started to talk to her about like, so we don't want to sign the birth certificate. We don't want to do Social Security. She's like, I haven't heard that kind of talk since I delivered babies for the French Davidians. I was like, yeah, that's our midwife right there. She was like, the Republic of Texas movement. They had their own birth certificates. That's my girl. Yeah. Now she's like, you better wear your mask. I'm like, damn. So turn off that MSNBC. So, anyway, I digress again. All right. So I was like, what's going on? There's all these people that want to stay free. There's other people that want to live free. We need to strengthen numbers. So we started this group where I can birth my kids, caught back up to where I was before. And we had like 6 or 7 people. We would get together. We would do this Sunday garden day. We had this huge garden going on, and things were great. And that was the Freedom Cell Network. It was like 7 of us. And then that group fell apart. Apparently, I was like bossy. They were like, you're the leader, but you're bossy. You tell everyone what to do. I'm like, I don't tell people what to do. Nobody does anything. I've since evolved and matured as a leader, right? The best thing a leader can do is teach other people to be leaders. Really, that's what it's all about. And take a step back. That's why I stand on stage and talk for an hour and a half straight. So our group kind of fell apart due to some differences and some infighting and some personality conflicts. I, of course, had nothing to do with it because I'm a perfect human being. That's what my mother says, of course. My mom loves me now as an adult, but I swear she was a big critic when I was a kid. She's great though. So our group fell apart, right? And then I talked about the Freedom Cell Network on some podcasts and on a couple speeches here, and I was like, maybe if I just talk about it enough, it'll take on a life of its own. And then I realized, like, wow, I'm raising these 2 kids and I'm totally in poverty. Electricity gets turned off and this really sucks. So I took a step back from activism to focus on entrepreneurship. Worked really hard on that. It's finally paying off like 6 years later. But Derek Bros caught the idea. Give it up for Derek Bros. This guy's a freaking man. Derek Bros! How many people learned about the Freedom Cell Network? This whole world from Derek Bros. All right. Love that guy. Love that guy. So he was like, Freedom Cell, that's a great freaking idea. I'm going to start one in Houston. And then he started talking about it and spread it all around, right? And they built this website, freedomcells.org. It was great. And then it like, started growing, 1,000 people. Super groovy, super cool. And like I said, COVID happened and it just, it was like the price of Bitcoin. Wow. But our group just keeps on going up and crashed down 20% out of nowhere. And the government passes a bill or something like that. We get stronger when the government passes bills. So the Freedom Cell Network is super groovy and it's been growing and growing. Let me just tell you a little bit about the framework of how it works because I think it's really applicable when you're growing the network in your area. There's this whole structure, but most of the time people are like, to heck with the structure. We're all anarchists and stuff. You're not gonna hold us down with any structure. Why do you think so many of us were late to the meeting today? I usually start right on time, but it was like 6 o'clock and I was like, oh man, I was expecting like 60 plus people. There's like 7 of us. So we started 20 minutes later, but maybe 6:20 was on time. Maybe I was just too early. So the Freedom Cell Network, it works like this. There's a structure, it's a framework. And the cool thing about this framework is it's horizontal. It's a way of organizing people horizontally instead of organizing people vertically. A vertical organization is hierarchical, right? Like a corporation. You have the board of directors, the CEO, the CFO, the upper management, the middle management, the employees, right? Or you have the government, where you have the president and the Congress and the courts. Wait a second. The shadow elites here, then the banks and the corporations, then the president and the governor and the courts and the enforcers and all that stuff, and the people. Oh, get out here. Spit on. So, really what we got to do is flip that whole structure around, right? That's what the minarchists and the folks that want to reform government, they're like, the government's not working, we're a republic. Like ever since even the founding of this country, it's been pretty bad. In fact, it was founded by the British East India Corporation. It's founded by a corporation. And there's like these governors, like, we're the governors, we're gonna come over here and establish a monopoly on coercion in a territory. We're gonna bring a bunch of slaves and serfs with us. We're gonna tax every single person. We're gonna enlist people. We're gonna, they did, what do you call it when you have a draft? I know, conscription. We're going to conscript people into the Revolutionary Army. That's how much we care about freedom. We're going to force them to fight. In fact, when Rhode Island doesn't want to be part of the Union, we're going to embargo Rhode Island until they sign up for the Constitution. That's how this country was founded. And people are like, really, it's just that the wrong people are in charge. But I think government is functioning exactly how it was designed to function. To exploit everyone, to rob everyone, to leverage everyone's labor, property, power, energy, resources to benefit the few that are in power, to benefit the ruling class. Government's operating exactly as it's intended to operate. So I don't think we should flip the pyramid over and have the people be in control of the government or whatever. I think we should do away with government and create an all new institution, like a Freedom Cell Network. So it's horizontal, right? Horizontal organizing. And it works like this. The most important component of the Freedom Cell Network, I guess, would be the individual, right? It works like this. You get together with a group of approximately 8 people, and you form what we call an inner cadre group. This is your tight-knit group of people. You guys get together, you have dinner together, the kids play together, and you work on common goals. I shared 4 great goals to start with for a Freedom Cell inner cadre group. Food storage, firearms, communication, off-grid communication, encrypted communication, having a bug-out plan. But it doesn't have to be that. That's just in the context of like survival because everything's going crazy. It could be like a spiritual group, and you have some goals, and you're like, we're going to get together, and we're going to talk about self-development. We're going to share some of the struggles that we had the previous week and some things that we could do to improve our lives. We're going to do yoga together, all that. We're going to pray together if it's a Christian group, right? Or maybe it's a group of families, and they're like, we're going to get together, we're going to chip in and purchase a homeschool curriculum. A few of the families are going to take lead on watching and educating the kids on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. The other families are going to take lead on Tuesday and Thursday. We're going to go to one another when one couple wants to have date night, and the other kids will get together and the parents will watch, right? It can be a group around financial success. We're going to contribute together and go to this big conference, and we're going to have a mastermind group where we share business ideas. We're going to support one another's businesses. We're going to talk about marketing strategies, right? It can be anything that you want it to be. But the idea is to get together with a small group of like-minded people and work together on common goals, whatever those goals may be. Here's where it spreads and it expands, but it remains horizontal. You have your group of 8. Why 8, John? That's a great question. I'm glad you asked. 8 people is the optimal number of people to have maximum creativity in a group. And that's what we all are. We're creators, right? We're creators. We're creative people that want to create a better world. We want to create abundance and beauty in our lives. We want to create freedom in our lives. This is actually some research that this guy named John David Garcia and another guy named Bob Podolsky, they actually did like scientific research and developed and determined that 8 people is optimal. When you have like 4 people or 3 people, there's not enough people to share ideas or innovate new ideas. There's not enough people to get stuff done. When you have like 16 people, it starts to get kind of bureaucratic. They actually found 4 women and 4 men is the optimal balance, right? You can have 7, you can have 9. At the end of the day, you can have however many people you want. There's not really that many groups that actually have 8. It's usually like 6 or 10 or whatever. So you have your little group of approximately 8, and then you go encourage other people to form these groups of 8. Or you have your group of 8, and you're like, why don't we all just create 8 more groups? But we keep this group together, but now we have 8 other groups. Maybe they're single purpose groups, whatever. It works like this process, this physical process, this biological process called autopoiesis. Anybody heard this term, autopoiesis? It's like when a cell self-replicates. Cell, freedom cell, wow. Originally, when I came up with the name freedom cell, it was supposed to be a play on terror cell, to be deliberately provocative.
You knew that.
Just to kind of be like, whatever. We're all peaceful, of course. But then someone was like, oh yeah, freedom cell, like a cell in the body. And I was like, yeah, that's what we were going for. The whole terror thing's a joke, of course. NSA, FBI, we're all peaceful people. Unless you mess with us, and we throw up our "Don't Tread on Me" flag. But really, it says "Don't tread on anyone." All right, anyway, I digress. All right, autopoiesis is this biological term where a cell self-replicates. So the cool thing about the freedom cell network is it self-replicates. Like my son has this really cool plant that my mom gave to him, and you can like pull off a little piece of it, and then it sprouts another plant, and then it has these little pieces that sprout off of it, and you pull the other ones off, and it sprouts and sprouts and it sprouts. So that's how the freedom cell network is supposed to work. You have your group of 8, you link up with 7 other groups of 8, and you form what we call a mitochondria. So now you have 8 groups of 8, approximately, around 64 people. They're all working together, getting together. Maybe the 64 people is in South Austin. Maybe they're in the Hill Country. Maybe they're in San Antonio, right? These little smaller groups. And then the larger groups of people link up and form what we call a mitochondria. So right now on Telegram, in the Central Texas Freedom Cell Network, there are like 550 people. So 8 times 64 is like 512 people. So if we were to get organized in this fashion, then we could have 8 groups of 64 in each little city, each region, each county, or whatever, and it's all linked up. And the cool thing about this is we can grow exponentially in numbers, but the group remains horizontal all the time. It never takes on this vertical hierarchical element, which is corruptible, right? So the cool thing about this little decentralized network is that if a group does become corrupt, and all of a sudden they're like, I really think we should go stunt for the Republican Party as part of the Freedom Cell Republicans. No, never do that, please. Or the Freedom Cell Democrats, especially the Freedom Cell. Oh, something about Democrats. Really grinds my gears, I tell you what. I'm convinced that people that are still wearing masks, they're just Democrats. And it's just like the party thing to do. Like Joe Biden does it. That's what a virtuous American citizen does. Gotta look out for one another. Texas Democrat. Tell them my voice, can't you? Yeehaw! Anyway, okay, so bunch of groups. If a group becomes corruptible and they're like talking about violence or destruction, then you can simply just be like, okay, well, you're not part of our mitochondria anymore. We're not going to be part of the group. Or if one group's like kind of getting a little edgy and kind of blurring the lines between peace and violence, the larger group can go to the members of that group, if it's just one person, and be like, hey, you guys need to get that guy in check because we don't want to be connected to your group if that's the way you're going to be communicating about stuff. So either he goes from your group or all of you go from our larger group, right? So it creates a mechanism where we can keep things in check and where we can have a civilized society where everyone's on the same page. It also creates an environment where eventually, like what I'm going towards is this organization, this network, it replaces all of the functions of government and maybe many of the functions that corporations provide. We don't need that anymore because we're looking out for ourselves. Instead of having health insurance, or what was it, the Affordable Care Act? What the heck was that? Why do they always do like double think terms for this stuff? Like the Department of Defense. drop some bombs on some innocent civilians and destroy weddings and stuff. Yeah. But it's like, we're like, I can't believe they do that. And then we're like, 1040 signature. Here's $12,000, Mr. Biden, go drop some more bombs, you know? Jesus. So we can replace all the functions of government, essentially. I was talking to this woman that spoke at the Exit and Build Land Summit. Her name was Cynthia Tina. She's not all radical, libertarian, hardcore like we are. And she was like, well, you know, because we had this terrible accident happen. A horse was killed on our property in front of the house. It was really bad. It would always break out of the gate, and the cops came, right? Well, anyway, she's like, well, it's a good thing we had those police there. I mean, they do some good. And they were good police. They didn't rough anybody up or anything, and they moved the traffic along. But I was like, well, there's no reason why we can't have our own SUVs with little emergency lights at the top. We have our own patrol crew. We call our crew if someone's in trouble, or if there's private criminals or public criminals that are trying to take someone's property. We call our little civil defense crew. Black and yellow lights. Right? Or a great thing that's like not even risky or weird or illegal. What if we all formed our own health share? I was talking about the Affordable Care Act a second ago. Because the health insurance is a scam, it's a racket. So is most Western allopathic medicine, unless you like break your leg or something. It's a scam, it's all reactionary, it's all meant to like pull money out of people and keep people sick. It's like sick care, not health care. But what if we had our own health share programs? I do this health share, I pay $215 a month. It's called Zion Health Share. And you just contribute. If there's an accident, I don't have like a primary care physician or anything. But Rebecca was sick the other day and she called, they were like, so who's your primary care physician? You're like, what does that mean? I don't know. Coil silver? C and D? Zinc? Husert? I don't know. What's that? And so the way that it works, I just pay $215 a month, and if I'm in some sort of catastrophic accident, God forbid, all I pay is up to $1,000. Everything else is covered 100%. There's this organization that has it. There's very many Christian groups that have this thing as well. There's one called Liberty Health Share. So what if we just formed our own or participated in one of these groups, right? What if we no longer relied on the grocery store for our food? And they're like, you can't come into the grocery store unless you have a vaccine certificate or you're wearing a mask. I just want to say again, God bless Texas, because there's all this crazy stuff going on around the world, and we're like, that just isn't happening here, you know?
Yay.
Still kind of weird in Austin, though. Every time I come back to Austin, I find so many people still wearing masks. And they're like, oh yeah, this Omicron thing or whatever. Jeez, they just keep pumping it. Oh my God. We're planning on doing our wedding at this resort in Bastrop, and the whole staff was wearing masks. And we're like, let's go check out this resort. We'll stay there, see if it's a good fit. We loved it, of course. We're like, let's pay for a couples massage. So we're all waking up the next morning, we stay there, walking to the couples massage, we're all excitedly anticipating it because it was so stressful testing out this resort. And we walk in, and they're like, okay, do you have a mask? And we're like, no, we don't. I'm like, oh, here's one. No, I can't wear a mask. I can't do it. It's for medical reasons. That's what I say. Some people are like, you say that, you're selling out. I just get in a fight with them.
Yeah.
Everybody's like, yeah, mask. Oh, I can't wear the joke. I got your mask right here. They're like, where's your vaccine passport? Oh, we get it. You got your permit right here, boy. So we're like, oh, okay, a medical reason, can't wear them. Which is true. I'm not going to sit for a freaking hour-long massage in a mask. In fact, the only time I ever put one on is when I fly. And even then, we have a little lollipop pack. Just bring a lollipop. How many licks does it take to get to center of the Tootsie Pop? We're finding that on this flight. 613,000. How it takes to get from here to Fort Lauderdale. Oh, that's good. That's good. So the lady's like, I need to go talk to my manager. The manager comes back. I'm like, oh, I'm sorry, I have to wear a mask. I'm like, nope. So we just walked out. What the heck? But Rebecca was like,
Are you kidding?
yeah.
You had to walk out?
We walked out. Yeah.
Oh my God.
They didn't charge us, thankfully. I would have raised hell. Like, where do you need to keep your deposit or something? But Rebecca's like, well, our wedding's going to be in November 2022. Surely it'll be over by then. It's been going on for 2 years now, and they keep milking it. It's a gift that keeps giving to the New World Order. They love it. Ugh.
The old world order.
Anyway, the old world order. So, where were we?
Suit and
All right. All right, we need other people to talk here pretty soon. So the Freedom Cell Network, small groups of 8, working together on common goals. That's really what it's all about. We can create our own institution where we can fulfill our common wants and needs peacefully, harmoniously, through decentralized networks, voluntarily, where every single interaction between each other is mutually beneficial. There's not one party exploiting the other party or coercing the other party into doing something that they don't want to do. The playbook for these totalitarian freaks is to pressure and coerce and leverage and manipulate people until they do things that they don't want to do, like the vaccine, for example. They're parasites. And so what we can do is insulate ourselves. And they're like, I have staff, and just hired a new staffer. She's sitting here in the front seat. Absolutely incredible human being. I'm grateful to be on the team.
You stole her from me?
Why? Uh-oh.
We're talking later.
Okay, Erica's gonna keep me in the jump now.
Don't care if you're not wearing a mask.
Anyway, the people that I work with are all liberty people that are all part of the crew. And they're not like, I wonder if my boss is ever gonna make me take the vaccine in order to work here, you know? In fact, I do have to require everyone to take a drug test though, before they work with me. And if they pass the drug test, they gotta go. My Square is working for me. I sell cannabis in my business, legal cannabis. So we just create an environment where there's no pressure they can put on us because we already opted out. We're doing our own thing. And they're like, you gotta wear a mask to come in our grocery stores. And we haven't been to your grocery store in like 2 years, man. We got our own little food share. One of the things that we have a meat share in the Central Texas group. There's been multiple rounds of it. I only did one because our freezer's totally full. We can't do the meat share anymore. We gotta buy another freezer. But we have a meat share program going on in the Central Texas Freedom Cell Network. There's multiple homeschool co-ops in the community. There's a lot of people that want to pull their kids out of government school. I don't know if it's going to happen here in Texas. Maybe they'll try to do it at the school district level, but if they mandate the vaccine for kids, I hope that's a hell no for parents in this community. Let's already have our kids out of that stuff so you don't even get caught at the last minute, like, what are we going to do? We both have full-time jobs. Oh my God. Just like go ahead and start making the moves to make that happen. Come up with plans and goals. That's what the Freedom Cell Network is all about. And I feel really confidently if everyone can like buy into that vision and not only buy into it verbally, like, yeah, this pep rally we're having here, but like after the meeting, go home and implement this stuff and really take it to heart and put it into practice. I do believe that in a matter of, I don't know, 10, 20, 30 years, or maybe like 212 years, we can have true freedom. Maybe our kids, but we do really have to think big picture style. Because the enemies of liberty, they have like these secret society groups. They have like 100-year plans. They're not thinking about the next election. They're thinking about how can we put the pieces into play now so we can leverage them in 20 years or in 3 or 4 generations. We need to adopt that kind of mindset, create like an Illuminati of liberty where we have these big picture goals, right? So I want to share a big goal with you. Kind of use this as like a marketing thing. It's like, we're going to share this big goal and project. Well, here it is. You know that's why you all came. Wow, big goal project. I'm going to drive all the way up from San Antonio just because he said it. All right, so I'm a big fan of this guy named Grant Cardone. He wrote this book called The 10X Rule. And part of the 10X idea is whenever you're coming up with goals, you 10X the goal. So it's big, it's sexy. Right? So for example, let's say you're making $45,000 a year income. You know, this just isn't cutting it. I'm living paycheck to paycheck. I'm struggling. I'm in debt. I can't live the lifestyle that I want to live. Can't take vacations everywhere. I'm just working and working and working. I have an idea. I'm going to set a goal. I'm going to go from making $45,000 a year to $50,000 a year. Sure, that's, you know, maybe you'll be able to go out to eat every once in a while. Maybe we'll pay down that credit card, but it's not a huge lifestyle change. What if instead of 50,000, you're like, my goal is going to be 500,000? Yeah. It just printed like $9 trillion. There's a lot of money out there for us to have. You just got to bring it towards you by adding value to other human beings' lives. But the cool thing about a huge goal like that, it's like $500,000. Wow, that would really be a dramatic change in my standard of living and my quality of life. I could help people around me. I could go on trips. Maybe I could buy that private jet I always dreamed of. That's what I'm talking about. At one of these meetings, I was like, yeah, I want a private jet. And I was like, wow, that'd be cool. Nathan was like, hell yeah. I want a private jet too. Yeah. He went home, started browsing. So you 10X the goal because it makes you think bigger. So now you're like 500,000, or maybe you have a business and you're like, I want to 10x the number of customers that I have, or clients. I like to call them clients. Clients is relationship, customers is transactional. So it's like, I want to 10x the number of clients that I have. What is that going to take in order to do that? In order to make $500,000, in order to 10x the number of orders that I put out every year. Wow, I might have to have a new facility. I might have to hire more people. It makes you think bigger, right? What is it going to take to really accomplish that goal? So when I was thinking about a 2022 goal for the Central Texas Freedom Cell Network, I thought, why don't we increase the number of people in our community? Right now we have about 550. So did I say, what if we make our goal 1,000? That would mean, there may be a couple more people in your area. There may be like 20 more people at this meeting here today. Now I think we should 10x that. Goal of 10,000 people in the Central Texas Freedom Cell Network by the end of 2022. Who thinks that's a good idea? Yeah. With me on that one. Imagine 10,000 like-minded people on this wavelength that aren't just complaining and sharing articles online, but we're like building and doing and creating homeschool co-ops and supporting one another and hiring one another and growing our own food and defending one another, and the health share idea maybe we can finally do. So that's what I'd like to invite you guys to be a part of, 10,000 people by the end of the year. Now, it could be 10,000 people from Texas, and we invite Houston and Dallas to be part of it, or we just do it here in Central Texas. Maybe we challenge them. We dare you to find 10,000 people in your area, because we're going to do it here. Should it be a Texas goal or a Central Texas goal?
Central Texas.
All right. Get dirty, you guys. Texas would be easy. So, okay, cool. So now the question is, now we got this big, really big goal. Like, wow, 10,000 people, we're going to have to meet in an auditorium. Like that's a really big deal. What is it going to take in order to get to that goal? And that's where I'd like to invite some collaboration. So I think I have a couple ideas. I have 2 ideas. And then I'd like to open up the audience to ideas and stuff. We're going to talk about this goal, hash it out a little bit. And then I want to invite people up that want to share about their projects. We'll let some of the local leaders come talk. Wildcat can share about South Austin. Morena, if you want to share about what y'all are doing in San Marcos, just kind of introduce yourselves so people get some faces to names. Like I didn't know Crystal's name was Crystal for the longest time. I was like, Wildcat. What's her name? It's Wildcat, right? So that's why it's good to be here in person, right? And then we can kind of just open up for discussion and talk about some problems, how we can solve all that sort of good stuff. But the 2 ideas I have that can help us achieve that goal. Oh, sorry, I forgot the 4th part of the Victory Academy Empowerment Philosophy. Right? As I'm talking, like I don't really plan things out, but I was like, okay, here's how I'm going to mix in the 4th part. After I announce the goal, blah, blah, blah. Then I forgot to do it. The 4th component, right? So it's mindset, strategy, working with the team. And the 4th and final component is taking massive action. Massive action. I'm talking hardcore levels of action. People are like, oh, I put in 40 hours of work last week. I'm freaking exhausted. Like 40 hours? I'm just barely getting started at 40 hours. Come on now. Massive action, right? So in order to accomplish all this big, crazy stuff, maybe it's a personal goal you have in your life. Maybe it's becoming 50% food self-sufficient. Maybe it's pulling your kids and your friends' kids out of government school and starting a homeschool cooperative. Maybe it's recruiting 10,000 people in Central Texas Freedom Cell Network. It takes a lot of work. It takes a lot of energy, a lot of momentum, a lot of resources, money, action, thoughts, ideas, right? So in order to achieve a level of action necessary to accomplish these big picture goals, a genuinely free society where the government just leaves us alone, it takes massive action. And in order to engage in massive action, sometimes you got to make some changes. If you want change, you got to change. I want to encourage everybody, if you truly want a change in your personal life and collectively you want us to all collaborate together to create really, really big picture, massive change, sometimes you got to give something up, right? So I know Rebecca and I lately have just been binge watching Sopranos for the 6th time.
6 times.
It's been the 6th time I've watched that.
I watched it 6 times.
I watched it 6 times. It's great. I love Tony. He's kind of an unethical
What
guy.
a weapon.
But it's a really great show. I mean, the mob boss goes to the psychologist, the therapist. It's like, wow.
Hey,
And it's like,
who ate
I
my
relate to all the
dog
family
food?
dynamic struggle they have. It's like, what the heck? I mean, we might have to off somebody if they were rat to the feds. I'm not kidding. I'm just kidding. So, massive action. Sometimes you got to give something up. And I'm speaking to myself. I like speaking in front of groups because I'll say something in the back of my head. I'm like,
You asshole, you've been watching Netflix for like 3 hours straight.
Last time I gave this talk, I didn't have that thought because we didn't have a hotspot at our country home. We didn't have the internet. We're like, we read books and talk at the dinner table at night, and play board games with the kids. Such a good father. Now we have internet. We're like,
Pirates of the Caribbean.
Succession on HBO. There's another episode tonight. This is great. Dad, let's watch all 6 Pirates of the Caribbean. I'll buy a 5.1 Dolby Digital surround sound system. Let's go.
oh, all right. So I'm speaking to myself as well. We need a mirror in the back of the room. If you want to make big change, sometimes you have to give something up, self included. And you got to make some changes, right? So Saturday or the Sunday, maybe instead of sitting down watching football all day or twiddling your thumbs, you're out in the garden, right? Or instead of abrogating the responsibility of raising our kids to a government institution, remember Malcolm X said only a fool would let his enemy teach his children, right? So for liberty people, it's like, what the hell are we doing there? The enemy is the state, right? More enemies than the state, but it's a pretty big one. You know, it takes a lot of work to start a homeschool cooperative and to homeschool the kiddos, right? In order to reach this 10,000 person goal, it's going to take a lot of work. So I want to encourage people and challenge people, myself included, to shift the way that they spend their time. Less complaining, less endless scrolling on Facebook. You know, on Brave browser, there's a plugin called Kill Facebook Newsfeed. And you activate that plugin, and you can still use Facebook to communicate with people and check your messages and stuff, but you can't scroll the newsfeed. Some of you could use that one. I know the ones that are not even ahead. They're like, I spent 6 hours yesterday on Facebook. You can also check in on how much time you spent on Facebook in the settings. It's pretty depressing if you've ever done it. Anyway, so I want to challenge everyone to focus on goals, focus on actions, focus on success, and spend a little bit less time quarreling with people on Facebook and watching Netflix and all sorts of stuff. Massive action. That's what it's all about. Okay, that's the 4 parts. All right, so in order to reach this 10,000 person goal, I would like to recruit some people to help me create a website and relaunch this movement, this effort called Lone Star Libertopia. Is anybody familiar with the Free State Project?
Yeah.
Up in New Hampshire. It's a group of libertarians, and I don't know, 2005 or 2002 or something. These guys, this guy Jason Sorens was one of them. They're like, why don't we create this movement where we get a bunch of people to sign up and move to one particular state in the union? And they like did all this research on the most free state, the best state for a bunch of people to move to. They chose New Hampshire, and they got 20,000 people plus to sign up. I signed up. I never moved. They were like, hey, home. So maybe when I'm super filthy rich, we'll have a summer home there. No, not maybe we will. Right, mindset. So they actually have like, I don't know, 4,500 freedom people in this small state of New Hampshire that has the same population as the Central Texas Metroplex. And there's like, I don't know, 2 or 3 dozen of them elected in the state house. Really cool. We have like 450 people in the state house, and every little district gets 3 people. So even the goofy libertarians get elected every once in a while as Republicans, not as the Libertarian Party. Not a big fan of the Libertarian Party. Just someone throw that out there. They like spend so much time bickering with one another, and they're like, we gotta overtake the LNC, and like we're fighting for freedom by arguing with old guard Libertarian Party members. It's like, where's the freedom in this equation? Anyway, they have this project called the Free State Project, and it's been super successful. And there's a lot of people that have found a lot of value in community, and they're really building a lot of freedom. It's not just political freedom, but there's like agorist groups and people that are trading amongst one another. There's all sorts of cryptocurrency activity up there. In fact, there's 6 people that got arrested by the FBI for selling cryptocurrency without asking for IDs and stuff like that. Ian Freeman, they're all out on bail now, but some of them are facing serious jail time. So be careful if you're buying cryptocurrency without showing your driver's license. The cool thing about crypto is like we can all trade amongst each other, right? Just don't advertise it, I guess. Anyway, I digress. So I'm digressing a lot. Thank you for bearing with me. So I want to relaunch this Lone Star Libertopia thing. It's something that we had way back in the day. In fact, my fiance, the first time we ever communicated was an email to Lone Star Libertopia. I'm thinking about coming to Austin. Will you show me around? And I messaged my friend. Isn't this that attractive blonde girl? I love you, babe. I've always thought you're beautiful. Maybe before I knew you. So it's called Lone Star Libertopia, and like it'll just be a website. And it's like, Central Texas is the best place to be if you value freedom. Here's a community here. Here's pictures of us doing that. Here's a meeting that we had. Somebody take a picture of this group here. And we have a wonderful job economy, and the market is great, and there's relative economic freedom, tiny bit of personal freedom. No masks, no mandates, come to Central Texas, blah, blah, blah. And that's all the website is. It's like advertisement. Maybe we do a flashy video or something. And then there's just a form. Are you interested in moving to Central Texas? Sure. And like they put in their email, or maybe we send them to a Telegram group, and then we have a welcoming committee. So everybody that signs up, their email gets forwarded to a group, and then the group reaches out and like, hey, we'd love for you to know, what are your questions? Do you have kids? You want to learn about the homeschool opportunities? Would you like to plan a visit? We'd love to put you up at our guest house. We'd love to show you around. We're doing this big thing next month you can come join us at. That's one of my ideas. So not only do we find people amongst ourselves that are already here, but we import other liberty, like-minded people, free thinkers from other places. Anybody into that? Anybody want to help? We're going to do like a little networking. What time is it?
7:30.
Okay, hour and a half. All right. Almost done, I swear. We'll save time for networking and collaborating and sharing phone numbers and all that good stuff here in the wall. So if you're interested in that idea, please come see me whenever we break. I'll get your contact info. We do have a group on Telegram already. I'll invite you to the group and we'll collaborate and put our heads together on how we can build this. And then we put it out to the world, we market it, we advertise it. If we ever see anybody on Telegram or social media and they're like, where I want to move, I live in Canada or whatever, California, then we say, hey, we should give Central Texas a try. We'll take the Californians if they're freedom people all day, right? Are there freedom people in California? I don't know. They're already here, that's right. That's right, we'll take them, the refugees. It's weird that we live in a world where there's like political refugees. Like we had someone that escaped from Canada. We were at Pork Fest, the Free State Project, and these people were refugees from Australia, and they got out before you could. All right, Yossi's in the house. Good choice. Was it y'all? That was at Pork Fest? Were you at Pork Fest? Okay. Wow. Are you able to leave the country? A white lie. A black and yellow lie. Very nice. All right, welcome to the Aussies, ladies and gentlemen. Are you guys living here in Central Texas? All right. Welcome. How does it feel? Good. All right. I love hearing that. Thank you so much for joining us and being part of the community. That's what it's all about. There you go. We'll take them. The tireless, the poor, the free, the enslaved, the chipped. Come on down. Let's go. We'll take you. Got a pocket knife. We'll get that chip right out of here. Not the saw one. Come on. So that's one of my ideas to help us get to 10,000 people. Because again, we're like 10,000. Wow, that's a lot of people. What are we going to have to do to make that happen? Another thing is I'd like to have regular meetings. So we had this, I don't know, it's like the winter meeting. I called it the winter meeting. It wasn't the December monthly meeting because there wasn't a November monthly meeting, nor was there an October monthly meeting. In fact, I don't remember when the last meeting was. Anybody? What's that? The river party. Woo! Who was at the river party? Yeah. Wow, that was cool. Woo! We're like, come on down to Inspired Minds. John Bush is going to talk for an hour and a half. And there's like 20 people. And then we're like, come on down to the river bash. We're going to float the river. We're going to have all sorts of drinks and food. We're going to socialize. There's no agenda whatsoever. It's just partying. 180 people. So we need more of that. So in order to reach this 10,000 number, I think we should have a bunch of events. So remember the way it works, we have this Central Texas Freedom Cell group. But there's also a South Austin group, a Wimberley area group, San Antonio, San Marcos, Hill Country, Williamson County, Bastrop, Fayette. Leander in the house. So we have a big regular meeting. Maybe it's every 2 months. When should we get the whole body together? Every 2 months? Every 3 months? They're like, judging on how this meeting's gone, once a year. Quarterly? All right, quarterly big meeting. If we do a quarterly big meeting, it's not too often. What? Oh, quarterly party? No, we'll do the quarterly business meeting and the quarterly party. Quarterly social, quarterly business meeting. Then every 2 months, there's a business meeting, 20 to 30 people. Every 2 months after that, there's a party, right? Okay, so that's what we're doing. Somebody taking notes? Crystal's Wildcat. Who's Crystal? Okay, all right, but here's the catch. You guys got to have meetings regularly in your area. And in fact, I would suggest a monthly meeting for the smaller groups. Because remember, we have the Central Texas Freedom Cell Network, which is a meta cadre of approximately 550 people. And within this big group, there's all these subgroups. Maybe there's like 8 subgroups, that's just organically happening that way. So I would suggest that you guys in your local groups have a monthly meeting. That's what we're doing in Bastrop Fayette. So we have a Bastrop Fayette Freedom Cell group. It has Bastrop County, Smithville, where Carol Jackson lives. Good for Carol Jackson, she's not here, but I love her. And then we have LaGrange. So we're gonna do 1 month, it's in Bastrop, 1 month's in Smithville, the next month it's in LaGrange, and it's back in Bastrop, right? Yes?
You know, I came from Wisconsin, decided to come to check out Central Texas, but up there in Wisconsin, they're meeting twice a week.
Dang, that put us to shame.
But we meet once a month.
Very nice. Give it up for Wisconsin. We're like, what else are we gonna do? Watch the corn grow? Is there corn in Wisconsin? It's kind of cold up there. Cheese. Watch the cheese mold. Okay, so at the end of the day, you're free to meet however often you want to meet in your local group, but I would strongly encourage you to meet at least once a month, right? Meet regularly and be in constant contact with your inner cadre group, your little close-knit group. Support one another, dinner, potluck, all the time. Kids out of school, kids get together, play date, watch a documentary together, garden together, so forth. We have a Central Texas permaplants meeting. We planted 3 gardens on our property recently. There was actually 8 of us there on the property just by chance. And we knocked out these 3 gardens with the hoops in to protect from the deer and stuff like that. It would have taken me probably like 2 weeks because we're so damn busy, but we knocked it out in 1 afternoon. It's a great activity for Freedom Cells to do, to build food, to build community, and to the gardening, get your hands in the dirt. Okay, so regular meetings. So what? We're gonna do a quarterly social. We already did one. What should we do for the next one? I like spare time. If anybody knows about spare time in Pflugerville, they never required masks the whole time. Even when it was like this surge, and surge number 3, and surge number 4, and surge 17. It's like, another surge? What are we surfing here? What's going on? You know, for some of those surges, I noticed like, wow, there's actually people in my life that are sick when these surges were going on. I don't know what the crowd's like. I don't know if we got COVID deniers all together. We're gonna people that are like, it's real, but it's exaggerated. And then there's people that are like, holy shit, I was really sick and it felt like foreign things in my body. I got sick. It kicked my ass for 2 days. Then I nebulized with colloidal silver and I was like, why did I do that 2 days ago? I feel great. Oh. But it did kick my butt. I don't know what it was, but it definitely wasn't normal. It's kind of weird. It's almost like it was made in a Chinese lab. It's almost like it was released in order to usher in this transformational great reset. I don't know, it's about there. Halfway through, I realized like, this whole thing is a freaking marketing campaign for this vaccine. That's what's going on here. The whole thing, even before the vaccine was made. God. Okay, so, yes. Oh, so spare time is this awesome place in Pflugerville. Don't require masks, never did. And they have an arcade, they have bowling, they have laser tag, which I love to play. I always dominate, except my daughter beat me last time we played. So that could be cool. They actually have rooms we could rent. It's a little bit pricey, but we could make it happen. So that could be a fun thing. There's beer, there's alcohol. People don't drink, we can I'll supply some cannabis gummies. Anybody wants some? Delta 8 legal for the Fed back there. Mike's like, why do you keep looking at me? Known you for 12 years now. All right, so that's what I got. Meetings and stuff. Let's do stuff together. One more thing I have. Let's do the maths. We have 550 people.
1 person per month, each one of us.
Hi.
I was already calculating.
1 person per month?
You recruit 1 person per month. Easy.
Yeah.
Okay, 1 person per month. That's easy and accomplishable. Of course, there's 550 people on the Telegram group, but I don't know, there's like 70 people here. Most of the people on the Telegram group aren't even active at all. So maybe we should 10x that. 10 people at once. Is that manageable? They're like,
No, not the 10x thing, but I gotta do something. When it's a group goal.
okay, how about 2 people a month to account for the people that are just on Telegram and left? 2 people a month. Can everyone in this room, yes? 2 people. Each and every one of us in this room, and we're going to share this in the Telegram group and on the Freedom Cells website. If each and every one of us were to recruit 2 people every month, we would be able to cover the people that actually aren't doing anything at all. Some of us are going to recruit 10, 20, or 30 people. Where are those folks at? Come on. Nathan's over here. I'm going to recruit them with my math skills. And I can do a Rubik's Cube too.
Oh, we got that covered.
You guys got Rubik's Cube in your cell? All right. Woo. Central Texas Rubik's Cube competition. All right, so everybody each month make a goal, a commitment to yourself and to one another that every month between now and December 31st, we are going to recruit 2 people to our group. It can be 2 people to your local group, ideally, or you just invite them to the Central Texas group. It can be people that live outside of Texas or Central Texas that we invite in, like our California import there in the back. BJ, welcome. Or it can be people that are already here that we recruit and bring to be part of the community. 2 people a month. Then we'll have 10,000 people. 10,000 people, we can do some pretty cool stuff. We're getting closer to that day when we all declare independence. I don't know if we actually sign a document. Maybe we do.
On the blockchain.
On the blockchain, everyone has their digital signature. I'm sure there's some in the group that are like, I heard from Catherine Austin Fitz that blockchain is the devil. I know you're out there. I'll share about blockchain all the time. Like,
I heard it was a communist agenda. It's completely exploited and easily hackable. I heard it on CNN.
Anyway, okay, cool. They are using blockchain for nefarious purposes like global digital identity and all sorts of nasty stuff. But it's all about like, okay, are we going to be victimized and like, oh, we'll just cede blockchain to the enemy, or are we going to be like, I'm going to use blockchain to continue to trade digitally with one another, and the government can't do anything about it. And I'm going to hide my money from the man. Screw it. Woo. Okay, cool. All right, so those are the ideas that I had. We have regular events. I'll help to facilitate Central Texas things, but I need help. And there's a great cast of characters that helps with all this stuff. Then we'll have a big social. We had a great time at the Extonville Land Summit, and it's a great revenue generator. So I would like to contribute some revenue from that event to the Central Texas group here. We have a 501c3 tax deductible. If anybody else wants to donate, we can purchase things and not pay sales tax. It's pretty freaking cool. So I'm going to contribute some of the money to the nonprofit, and then we can use that as kind of a fund to do big, cool, fun parties and stuff like that. And if we got to go to spare time and they make us pay for plates or whatever, we'll do that. Ideally, we make these events self-sufficient, so like everyone contributes, but we can do cool, fun stuff, and that's not a problem. But then it's up to each and every local group to make sure you guys are meeting regular as well. And each time you have a meeting, it's not just like the same old group of people that gets together. It's like we're having a meeting in 2 Thursdays. Let's challenge each and every one of us to bring 1 person to that meeting, right? Or 2 people to the meeting, okay? And then the other thing, we're gonna do this website. So, cool. Well, that's all I have. That's a big goal, 10,000 people. I think we can do it. Yeah, 10,000 people, yeah! Okay, so I would like to open the floor for folks if they want to introduce themselves or share some of the projects, or if there's any folks that are organizing a group, if they want to introduce themselves. We'll start with Wildcat here.
I have batteries for that microphone.
Is this microphone running out of batteries? Oh.
That one did.
What's going on here? What am I doing? Tell me what to do.
I'm through the bottom.
Screw me. Okay, Wildcat, come on down. Wildcat organizes the South Austin Freedom Cell. So yeah, if anybody has anything they want to share, Bruce Ford, I'm sure, wants to share about his projects. The B guy over there. He's the proud B guy in the back. Good man. Let's just open up for conversation. If anybody has like a problem or they're new and they're like, never done this before, I'm really concerned about this, or my employer's about to fire me, is anybody hiring or anything like that, then let's just open it up as kind of a town hall. Vote for Sherry Blanket. Anybody see the political signs when you drove down here? Isn't it weird how people vote for people to run their lives? What's that all about? Anyway, all right, I've said enough. All right, give it up for Wildcat, ladies and gentlemen.
I'm not a speaker like John, so I'm just gonna say a couple things and get out of here. But so I started the South Austin group. I think it was a year or 2 years ago. It was when COVID, after COVID started. Maybe it was just a year. Okay, so we're at like 154.
Kiss it.
Put it up off your mouth.
Yeah, kiss it. It's got my COVID on it. COVID.
Anyway, so we're at like 154 people
Yeah.
now. And we even created a smaller inner cadre.
Wow.
People on the back of there. And we do really cool stuff like canning, canning workshop, and we have ham radios and stuff like that. But we have the bigger South Austin, and we meet at least once a month. And yeah, we've done a community garden. We do, all kinds of stuff. So if you are not a part of the cell, you can come to South Austin and meet everybody there. We'll do like whatever. Everyone's like really nice, and we'll do like whatever ideas we have. Yeah, that's it.
There he is. Bruce Ford, ladies and gentlemen.
5 minutes. 5 minutes. All right, Bruce Ford, beekeeper from LaGrange. Get her done. All of y'all have either looking for land, or you're gonna buy some land, or you got some land. First thing you need to know, make sure you hold on to that ag exemption. Anything over 5 acres up to 20 acres, you raise honeybees, and you keep your ag exemption, you keep your property tax 80% lower. That's a big deal. I can help you with honeybees. If you got too many acres, like over 20, you need a wildlife habitat plan. I can help you with that too. Y'all need to get together and help each other put in gardens, do workshops, take one person, go over there with all the stuff, read the Back to Eden book, take all your cardboard and newspaper and go over there and put in the garden, and then go to the next place and put in their garden, and then their garden. I can do the same thing with you with beehives. Somebody needs a bee yard. We've already got it set up. We're gonna have a workshop. Everybody that wants to come over and put on a bee suit, we'll show you how to go in there and read the frames when you put the bees in the beehive. And I got lots of bee suits, bee jackets. You take it farther. You're gonna put in a barn. First thing you do is put in a barn. Well, make sure you can put in gutters, because you want rainwater catchment for your garden. You don't need electricity. You don't need a well, because you have rainwater coming off your first building. Think these things through, and when we do this, we have workshops. Everybody goes over to one person's place, and we help them put in their rainwater catchment system. I do workshops now on rainwater catchment for gardens. Greenhouses, you want to monetize your land real quick. As soon as you get it, you need some cash flow. All right, beekeeping is pretty darn lucrative. It's easy, it's lucrative. I mean, very lucrative. I can teach you how to do that real quick, but it takes about a year and a half to get really established. You can do do-it-yourself commercial greenhouses. I build do-it-yourself commercial greenhouses. You can put in hydroponic systems, 10 foot of gutters on either side, 10 foot down the middle, 30 foot wide, 60 foot long. They're really easy to put up. You get used greenhouses. You can go in and see a greenhouse that's just sitting there. Nobody's using it, all from $500. Take it down like an erector set, take it over here, put it back up, and start monetizing with it. As soon as you get it up and get the greenhouse plastic on it, you can start raising plants from seeds, put them in your garden, sell them at the farmer's market, give them to each other. I mean, you can do hydroponics if you still have contacts in Austin or San Antonio. You can sell lots and lots of veggies. I mean, you need to think real quick, how do I monetize as soon as I get my land? Greenhouses and honeybees is the first two you should look at. I'm gonna pull y'all into self-sufficiency and self-reliance. You're done.
Jump kick you in the ball. Sorry.
You will.
I'm not gonna stand in front of the camera.
Sorry.
But y'all can hear me, right? Okay, so I live on 50 acres in San Marcos, and in a cabin in the woods, surrounded by another 5,000 acres, and with my cat and the spiders that guard the day, and friends of goats. So I need a lease. We're doing a lease on grazing, and for our Freedom Cell friends, it's an opportunity to graze goats on 50 acres. And bees are possible.
Yeah.
Yeah? Want goats. So,
Yay. That was easy.
okay. So I could probably do 15, huh?
You want meat goats or milky goats?
I want rent-a-goats.
So you want the goats to clear your land and then leave?
No, they can stay. They can stay. How many goats do you have?
We just have 8. But we have no.
8, that's
Milking
awesome.
goats, yeah.
Yeah, pretty
No, so
cool.
I'm looking to just set up where I have up to, let's say, 15 goats that can graze the 50 acres, and then just have friends of goats, friends that maybe don't have an investment in a goat, but you could have a goat, you could have a goat. We could get together and be friends of goats.
Goat share.
Goat share. So they could be.
A goat share works is because raw goat milk is not legal to just sell. So a goat share is where you're all chipping in on the goat because then you own the goat so you can all get milk. So we thought of doing a goat share that way. Is that you can't sell raw goat milk, but if you have a goat share, everybody owns the goat so they can get raw goat milk legally. But maybe you would want meat goats if you don't want milk. Or fiber goats.
Well, the idea is that it's a goat party. So I do not want to be a goat herder. But the land needs goats. It needs to be grazed. An ag exemption needs these agricultural things. So it's in San Marcos, so anybody that's close that would be interested in creating a Friends of Goats freedom cell, so to speak. Hey, this is brilliant stuff. So we can have fun with goats.
Yay.
If anybody's interested, I can talk to me or talk to Crystal. So we're organizing that, the two of us, on in San Marcos.
Totes my goats. Okay, does anybody else want to share anything? Ideas, thoughts? Come on down. If you don't want to be on camera, you can stand there. But it'd be cooler if you were on camera. But it's not necessary.
Do you want me to pass it?
No coercion involved.
Hi, I'm Brittany Linton. I'm in Bastrop. Actually, Derek Rose wolfed on my property 10 years ago.
Oh,
And I
nice.
just found this group because he was on a podcast. I don't know, it's random how you find out these things, but it's not random. It's all meant to be there. So I want to start a holistic health collective in Bastrop, and I had initially thought of it being a female-driven thing, but I'm open to everything. And I really am excited to know you, John, and Mike, just develop this more. And yeah, if anybody wants to be involved in herbal medicine classes, I've taught them at Austin Community College, but now I'm doing them here and all over San Antonio. Just, that's my jam, is herbal medicine. But I have a food forest in downtown Bastrop, and it's 16 years going. There's a few acres around me that is undeveloped, and they, I think, are about to sell it, and it would be really great if we could buy it,
Yeah.
collectively, and build that area up and downtown, because it is, a center, and we're really just looking to grow. So, yeah, if anybody questions?
Is your background, is it heavy with medicinals?
Yes. And I'm all about the soil, developing mycelium. It's been all organic, we don't put anything on the soil except for compost and mulch. I think I know you, Bruce. I think I've met you before. What they use apothecary is my business. I'm make tinctures and oils.
Say it again.
Alchemy's apothecary.
Alchemy's apothecary.
Yes, sir. And yeah, if you're interested in trades, barters, that's what we like. And classes. Yes, sir.
Do you know about the Central Texas Land Co-op group on Telegram? Because
Yeah.
they would want to know if you're on that group and something comes up for sale, you think it's about to come up for sale, let us know.
I think that this land is going up for sale, but I don't think it's on the market necessarily.
Now's the time. Don't wait.
How much is it?
I'm not really sure, but,
We wanted to buy
$20.
property in downtown Bastrop. We were looking
200.
at a commercial property in downtown Bastrop.
2,000.
well, you're welcome to come over and check it out. It's the land right behind my property. It's several acres, well, it's like 3 or 4 acres, I believe. But together, combined, we would make up more than 5. And so then we could get the ag exemption, I think, and we could do more with that.
Cool. Can we build a barn and museum so I can put my office in it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Co-working.
Earth buildings, you know?
Yeah.
So, yeah, right now we're working on a cob building, so if anybody's interested in learning cob, we're gonna start doing that in the next couple of weeks, so, just, you know, get my contact information, and I'd be happy to meet with anybody and talk about any of this stuff. So, yeah,
Are you on Telegram?
I am, yeah, so I did, I found out about y'all through Derek and got on the Telegram groups. And I homeschool my daughter, there helped me, sorry, I'm putting you on the spot, but we're looking for other people with kids her age, I want her to have some like-minded kids around and parents and stuff. We had not really found our niche group in Bastrop, I didn't feel like, and then I was ready to hop to another state and change course, and then it was like everything's dragging me back here to Bastrop, I don't know what's going on, and you know, I was like, it was so strange, I kept getting pulled back, and then I found this group, and I thought, oh my God, this is amazing, we're like back in action. So yeah, I'm really excited to meet everybody and know everybody, and hope that you will, you know, come over sometime.
All right.
Are you on the Bastrop group? Telegram group? Yeah. Sweet. Excellent. Give her Brittany! I'm reminded of that line from Godfather and Sopranos that mentioned a lot. Every time I try to get out, they pull me back in. We're doing a Bastrop, Freedom Cell. Don't go! Build here! Hey, Osprey, will you replace the batteries on this one? I think I replaced them on the wrong thing. So there's probably some good batteries over there. You got something, Chris Baker?
Yeah.
Nice haircut, Chris. Looking sharp.
Yeah, I decided to take it all off. This is more of a brainstorm that I've been having actually on my mind for a long time. I've really been wanting to produce some type of math course. I assume we have a lot of unschoolers here. I'm wondering how much interest there would be in that.
Yeah. Nathan's a math whiz apparently over here.
A math course?
Yes, a math course. A curriculum or whatever you want to call it.
For what age group?
Starting at the beginning. Because you have to start with a solid foundation, or if you don't start with a solid foundation, you're going to.
There's already new math.
And you know, not to mention.
What is that, common core thing?
I would venture to say that by the time you're 8 or 9, a lot of kids have made up their mind about math. Either if they hate it, and once they get to the point where they hate it, you're not going to get them back. You know, and that's the whole idea is you have to prevent them from hating it, which I think is very doable. But not with the conventional, not with the but not with the way they do it in schools.
No.
I would cringe the way teachers would teach it in schools. It's like, oh my God, now I know why these kids hate it.
Intentional.
Yeah.
There's a couple of homeschool groups on Telegram.
Yeah.
You could pitch it to and find some folks too.
Yeah, I would. Yeah, I'm. You know, I still want to go the old-fashioned way and do a book, but you know, it's an idea that's been in the back of my head for a long time.
Well, that would be a great service, really.
Yeah.
To go from co-op to co-op.
Yeah, and it's kind of booming now. You know, It's always that fear of failure that, whether or not it's gonna go. And I think you'd have to do some, I'd still have to do some YouTube videos,
You got it if you
Yeah,
dare.
Do it.
Do it.
Do it.
Go. Chris.
Decide right now.
Yeah, that's exactly how I do it for you, yeah.
Do it for America.
Well, if it takes off, I'll end up doing a Spanish course.
There you go.
I mean, a course in Spanish, and after that, you conquer the English speaking. What, hello, yes?
Once you start, you've got to develop courses K through 12. No,
Well, I'm not thinking in terms of K through 12 is what I'm saying, but you certainly have to.
Follow
Yeah.
through.
Yeah, for each progression, I would call it, it's, because some kids will progress at different paces, it's there's a lot of road, and it doesn't have to be that way.
You can build out free courses on Thinkific.
On what?
Thinkific, it's a virtual platform for hosting courses for training.
Yeah, well, I'm hoping to make a lot of money off this, I don't want to give away.
Well, I'm saying they allow you to host 3, so you're not paying a monthly fee for a portion itself.
Yeah, and I wonder if I should do a separate YouTube channel, because something like this is very unlikely to get censored, but other things I might do get censored. I've got more ideas than I know what to do with, unfortunately, but, it's one of those things, now if I don't do it now, I'll regret never doing it, I kind of wish I'd done it a long time ago. With the boom in unschooling now, Hello, yes?
In these freedom cells,
Yeah.
skill set is needed. I mean,
Yeah.
It's not just a math course.
Yeah, what do
Then
you-
you can expand out.
Oh, yeah, well, I don't feel qualified to do anything else but that, although, it's, I don't really want to do a science course or something like that, it's not something I'm passionate about,
But most homeschoolers now, they're using canned homeschool programs. They're expensive. And we need alternatives. We raised our kids, first grade through 12th grade. We used a better homeschool program. It was very, very good.
Oh, yeah.
But it was expensive. And it needs to be alternatives to homeschooling. That's thorough.
Yeah.
Well developed and not as expensive.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's a good point, yeah, of course, I don't know what's the average income level of unschoolers nowadays, is it pretty much average, rich, poor, I don't know. I don't want to price people out of it, but also don't want to cut my own throat.
Do it.
Do it.
Starting a homeschool math curriculum is a lot like planting a tree.
Yeah.
Best time to do it was 20 years ago.
Yeah.
Next best time, right now.
Well, it might even just be sold to parents, who are disgusted with what their kids are getting in the regular school system too.
Give it up for Chris Baker! Come on down. What's your name?
My name is Grace Gravestad. I am a homeschooler. Hi, I am a homeschooler, and my mom was a Lehrerlehrer, and I have a vision. I want to share it with you, and I'll give you an opportunity if anyone is interested. How many of you understand how important it is to listen to your own inner guidance system? Yes, and how many of you think it would be amazing if everybody knew that? Yes. Well, my vision is by 2025, I call it the Know Yourself Revolution, and it is that everyone would know who they really are, or maybe remember who they really are, and operate from their inner guidance system. About 4 years ago, I went through a lot of major life changes as a professional change manager. Imagine my surprise when I was ready to check out, and I found this tool called Human Design, which totally changed my life. How many of you know what Human Design is? Woo! Yay! How many of you believe that you have a blueprint and that you're here for a reason? Raise your hand. Yes. So my vision is for everybody to know what they are here for and to operate from their inner guidance system. So I teach something called Human Design. I've been teaching it for about 4 years, and I've been doing it one-on-one. a 10-week program to help people understand who they are, looking at their human design energy blueprint. And it's been amazing and a lot of big impact for people who have remembered who they are and have taken back their power as I have. So learning, leading by example. I mean, I've been through this all myself, and I know everybody can benefit from it. So here's my offer. I'm working on a group coaching program, and if anybody is interested in the pilot of that, I haven't done a group coaching program before. I've done one-on-one for 10 weeks, but I'm looking for people that would be interested in a very low cost, something, because you got to skin in the game to stay committed, but something very low cost that would be enable you to try this out, to learn who you really are by looking at your human design energy blueprint over, probably 10 weeks. But doing it in a group setting, some online, some like a weekly Q&A or QA call, and maybe some in person. I'm totally up for in person. I live in Maynard, but willing to go into Austin or wherever. So if you're interested in something like that, how many of you, just show of hands, how many of you think you would be interested, or somebody that might be? Perfect. Okay, great. Well, my website, if you're taking notes, is askgrace.info, and you can schedule time with me as a quick call. And we can just have a quick conversation, or you can grab me afterwards. I'd love to talk to you. Thank you.
All right. Thanks, Grace. Hey, I just wanted to let everyone know right quick, we have some amazing shirts for sale. Check this out. Represent. Let the FBI know you're part of the crew. That's right. We're not storming capitals, we're installing storm drains on our house to collect water. Yeah. They're $25. It's a fundraising effort to do cool stuff here in Central Texas. All the money goes to our nonprofit, and then we'll use it on cool Central Texas freedom cell stuff. Recruit people as you walk. Man, that guy's got a nice back. I'm gonna join that website. That's how it works. We have those, and we have the Greater Reset. That logo. Made by a local Freedom Cell member, Duncan over there. Good for Duncan! Got a shirt with Gates and Fauci over here. You make that shirt? Revenge of the Nerds, Fauci and Gates. Who's that other guy? Epstein, all right. That's a good. What's that? The Greater Reset. $25? That? TheGreaterReset.org. Oh, chemtrail? Yeah, that's the symbolism we're going for. That's the guy, that's the fan. There you go. TheGreaterReset.org. They're $25. They're right outside. I don't think there's anybody manning the booth, so. Oh, Wildcat! Give over Wildcat, ladies and gentlemen! $25. You can pay with Venmo at John Bush 512, at John Bush 512, at John Bush 512. At John Bush, or cash, or cryptocurrency. Does anybody else have anything they want to share? Come on down. Dun, 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 dun.
I didn't plan on doing this, but is mom still here? I thought I saw him. Anyway, I just thought this was kind of important, so I'd announce it. There are freedom hospitals being created nationwide. So there was a new one. We're starting with a clinic here. It's in Lakewood called Hill Country Health, and they are looking for more doctors and nurses that are in line with putting their patients' health first.
All right. The cool thing about nowadays, there's like so many of us. There's like doctors that are willing to do stuff that they're not supposed to do according to the licensing and all sorts of stuff. There's just really optimistic and hopeful that there's a lot of cool stuff going on. There's so many cool people. I want to invite everyone out to a couple events that are taking place. The Greater Reset. Who was here for the Greater Reset? I met a lot of cool people at the Greater Reset, actually. This guy's really good at helping. All right, so that's coming up January 26th through the 30th. January 26th through the 30th. The lovely Rebecca Power will be presenting. Joel Salatin will be here in person. The guys from Portal, this awesome decentralized blockchain project, will be here. A handful of other folks. We're going to be presenting here in person
Derek Bros is going to be leading an event in Morelia, Mexico. And then we're going to have a big screen TV for all the folks that are being Skyped in, like Robert F. Kennedy Jr. Very cool. Erin Elizabeth, anybody know her? Healthline News, pretty cool too. We've got all sorts of cool cats that are representing. We'd love you guys to be part of it. Tickets are available. There's only like 50 left, probably 45 since the last time I checked. You can purchase tickets for $127. That's for 5 days of fun, freedom, and friends. See what I did there? There's 3 Fs. Count them. Freaking cool. Okay, so, and then January 26th through the 30th, 2022. Here at this event space, the Amazing Inspired Minds, you know, this used to be the city council chambers in Buda. This was the very room where the people of Buda rose up and got fluoride taken out of the water. This guy back here, one of the proprietors, was a big part of it. Super cool. Okay, cool. So a lot of cool history, a lot of cool energy. We're going to be doing it right here. And then before it starts at 3 o'clock on Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. And it's like 10 a.m. on Saturday and Sunday. But before the event, we're going to be going to breakfast. We're going to be doing workshops. There's this guy named Jim Gale that does permaculture stuff. He's going to be doing a workshop here in town. I haven't talked to him about that, but we expect him to do a workshop. We're going to be doing a workshop probably, and we're going to be visiting like local farms and stuff, and there's going to be social, we're going to go to restaurants, it's going to be great. There's this awesome artist named, what's her name?
What?
The lady.
Oh, the lady that's performing?
Yeah.
Okay, she opened for Nocto,
Opened
and
for
her
Nocto.
name is...
Natalie Rise.
All right.
Natalie Rise. Really cool, super groovy. Jimmy Vaughn played the stage last time. That was pretty cool. He's a freedom guy. I'm telling you, he's a big freedom guy. It's pretty cool. So there's Eric Clapton. I saw my friend I went to high school with that we like, we're not kind of good friends anymore because she's like extreme COVID. We always like jab at each other on Facebook. And then this one time she like posted something like, all these people that are conspiracy theorists are just trying to cope with this terrible reality we're living in. It's a coping mechanism, these conspiracy theories. And then I like shared a video of all these Australian protesters rising up, and it was like tens of thousands of people marching. And I was like, are these people coping? I think they are trying to cope by rising up against the government. And she was just like, well, they should have rolled out the vaccine a little faster. And then I saw her at the Eric Clapton concert that was here. I took my daughter's a big Jimmy Bond fan. She's like, who's Eric Clapton? I was like, let me tell you. She's like, I remember Jimmy Bond. And we were there, and I saw this girl in the booze line. We're like waiting in line. She's up there. She's wearing a black KN95 mask to match her black dress. She's like all stylish. The style is called chic. I don't usually like to do those kind of terms for people, but she's a great human being. She's just a little confused. Anyway, I messaged her later on. I was like, oh, you like that concert? Jimmy Bond, huh? Eric Clapton. Yeah, that's pretty good rock and roll, huh? You know they're freedom people, right? So, whatever. She was like, yeah, I heard Eric Clapton's racist too. Apparently had some racist comments like back in 1970 that he apologized for probably about 40 times, but because he spoke out against the vaccines, of course the media is like, Eric Clapton, a racist, said this about vaccine, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, so that's happening. And then we're going to do another Exit and Build Land Summit. It was a super groovy event that we did with Jack Spirko, Marjorie Wildcraft, Joel Salage, and Scotton. There was like 100 of us that got together at this awesome country club in the Grange. We had all these outings. Bruce Ford was there. Bruce Ford got some stage time. Give it up for Bruce Ford, the big guy! So we're going to do the event again, but this time we're probably going to do it at the Bastrop Convention Center. Instead of having 100 people, we're going to have like 500 people. It's going to be super groovy. It's probably going to be June 13th, 14th, and 15th. June 3rd, 4th, and 5th. Yes, thank you. That's it there. June 3rd, 4th, and 5th. And we definitely want everyone to be a part of it. There's a lot of folks that didn't get a ticket because we had very limited seating. So I hope that we sell out 500 tickets too. But it's just that whole 10X thing. We're like leveling up, right? Pretty soon we're going to be doing a stadium event with 35,000 people like Grant Cardone did. Okay, anyway. Anybody else got something to say? Come on down. Dun, 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 dun. Yeah.
Hey y'all, I'm Katie Smith, the Oyos, and I can see from my South Austin group. I was walking across America, but there were wildfires, droughts, and squirrels with the plague, so I'm here. And I'm doing something a little different. it sounds like, than a lot of other people. I actually have founded a nonprofit in San Marcos, Walk SMTX, and my objective is to transform San Marcos into America's most walkable city. And it's a lot of work. Currently, they have a walk score of 39 out of 100, so it's a very car-dependent community, very focused on, do I have my parking space where I want it, when I want it? And so for me, I feel like I'm operating in different cultures, you know, having the freedom community that I'm very at home at the same time, I function very well with people with whom I fundamentally disagree. And so what I've found to be the most successful way for me to be able to engage those individuals and potentially participate in this 10Xing of our group is literally going on a walk, taking people on an actual walk, which I've done with some people in here already. But I just wanted to let you know that I'm gonna maybe put things on Telegram. One of the biggest things for me, stepping out, forming a nonprofit, is complying with the 501c3 status and doing that and jumping through those hoops. So I'm at that stage right now. But if you find coins by any chance, when you walk, when you're out and about, if you collect coins and would be willing to contribute that to Walk SMTX, I will use that funding for the nonprofit. A lot of people don't think about the change they find. They're not even willing to pick up a penny because I don't know. It's not enough. Oh, right.
There's a shortage.
So,
There's a shortage.
So, yeah, but yeah. So if you happen to see any coins, please just collect them. And at these events, if you happen to bring them with you, that would be awesome because they add up really fast. And that's one of the ways that I also meet with other people, talk about coins. I'll usually have coins in my pocket and have conversations. But anyhow, I just want to let you guys know that it sometimes feels very lonely in San Marcos when I go on these walks and I spend time talking with individuals who vehemently disagree with me. But they don't know it because they don't bother to ask me what I think. So they don't know they disagree with me, but they're very quick to tell me what they think about everything. And so anyhow, just as you see me talking about some of these walks and the programming, some of the things we're doing on the Telegram groups, I would love for you to support, come walk with, and just give me an atta girl every now and then. So thank you all.
Somebody else, come on down.
Woohoo! People care, earth care, future care.
Do you want a mic too?
No, I'll just talk in the
Okay.
My name is Mark, and this is Ashley.
Hi.
Hello.
Hey. Closer.
Closer? So we have a retreat center in Wimberley, and so a lot of people I see who have moved to land, first thing they want to do is start a retreat center. So we're really passionate about permaculture, and we keep bees, we have chickens, and we have goats, milky goats, and quail. And so we've been homesteading for a while and also running a holistic business. And so it's really important to us that people understand that we do have a facility in the area. So if you are somebody who does want to put on retreats, it's a lot less overhead than trying to create your own retreat center. Come out and put on an event at our place. Also, one of the beautiful things is we have been building soil and gardens, and so we have an idea of what it takes, and we can offer a lot of advice for homesteading in the hill country. And a lot of these soils are caliche, but in 1 year you can easily remedy and start growing really good grass, building your topsoil just by grazing animals, and it can be as simple as chickens. So also,
are you guys Lotus Ranch?
we're a Lotus
Yeah,
Ranch.
how do you know? Because we live by here.
Okay.
Okay,
Yeah.
no, well, we just moved, so
Oh, yeah.
we're gonna connect and
Sweet,
have the
yeah.
12-year-olds. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And then,
It's lotusranch.org.
Another thing that we do is I've been doing a nature school for homeschoolers class for 8 years or something. And so right now it's a weekly class that homeschoolers come out and we're gardening, going on our hiking trails, learning about nature and all the things.
What's the age group for those?
The class always just has a suggested age of school-age children, and then there's always been that siblings are tagging along and parents can stay or drop off. Yep.
The retreat, is it day retreats or overnight camping?
It is a retreat facility, so we don't put on the retreat. Somebody rents the facility, and it's like we have lodging for 25 people to sleep in a dorm area. We have a separate place for like the person that's putting on the retreat. So like 6 people can sleep in a different place, and then we have camping. So our largest group camps at like a lot, like 200, or mostly it's the small group staying in, or small by like 30 people staying inside.
Yeah, good enough. Cool. And so everything's cleaned, non-toxic, and we have low EMF. So, you know, we're concerned about the same things that you'd be interested in if you're trying to make your house a little more healthy and not toxic. So, yeah, if anybody is curious and all that, we would love to do more workshops out there, more things that are related to permaculture. We're both certified. Ashley's a certified permaculture teacher. So there's a lot of potential out there.
Can we do a permaculture design course out there and invite the Freedom Cell folks to?
The Austin Permaculture Guild just came out 2 weeks ago.
Taylor?
Yeah, Taylor, and they did their that month class there, and they stayed the night and did stuff on the land. Yeah.
Cool.
So yeah, we would love to put together a whole design course and do it there.
Sweet. Thank you.
Each one of our individual pieces of property, if we collaborate together and put our resources in, like we do legwork and maybe get a permaculture design plan for an individual.
That would be cool. Yeah.
And then we all show up and we implement as much as we can.
Permablitz.
Yeah.
Permablitz.
Permablitz, yeah.
Cool. All right. Thanks. We do Freedom Cell retreat, permaculture design, ayahuasca ceremony mixed in as well. You guys want to get to 10,000 people really quick. For real though, if you want to experience freedom in your life on another level, if you're ready and you take it seriously, let's roll. Yeah, come on down, drop Robin, give it up.
All right, so I wasn't going to talk about this because it's a real secret and a real private thing. It's really personal. I'm just kidding. It's not any of those things. So it's kind of along the lines of all of these things and events, and it's just bring stuff together. So many years ago, I was with this group that we came up with this concept called event to infrastructure. So many of you have land, some of you struggle to get shit done on that land because you're out there by yourself trying to get things done and trying to recruit and that sort of thing. One of the things, I just shot a big event out, actually this time it wasn't in Utopia, it's called Utopia Festival. Maybe some of you guys went to that, Utopia Music. Our good friend Travis across the street and his wife put that on, or his family puts that on. And so they have worked out a relationship where they essentially build infrastructure on the land that they use. So they put the money into it, they build this thing, and now they don't have to rent the property because they contributed to the infrastructure to put on the festival, as far as I know. They've got 2 big stages out there now. So, like I said, many of you all have land. We have the Accident Build, which we just did a couple months ago, and another one coming up. One of the things that I was inspired by, so I lived in Australia, shout out to Australia, for a year. It was fantastic, and they have this thing called, Off-Grid Living Festival. And so I saw that, and I was like, man, that's kind of, so I'm an artist. I come from the musician trade. For many years I did that, and I moved into film and that sort of thing. And one of the things I noticed about a lot of these events is that the emphasis on the culture sucks usually. So to me, it's like part of this whole thing of building, rebuilding civilization is culture. What made civilization worth civilizing? What does it even mean? One of the things that I miss and really appreciate is good culture. So part of the good culture thing is to sort of put these events together on a piece of land. Maybe you start slow because obviously these infrastructure things, but you can also obviously rent things to sort of give you power or whatever you need to do. But the idea is essentially have off-grid living skills, like really skill building, not just sitting in a chair, listening and learning, and I mean that's all good, but like getting hands dirty is the thing that's really gonna make a difference. Like learning how to build a thing and like screwing it up. I mean like, oh shit just fell down. Now we gotta do it again, and this time maybe we'll do it right. Like the people who do the coil houses, there's a whole culture of coil houses in downtown Austin. Literally somehow downtown Austin, and they initially collapsed in on themselves because they didn't build it right. So it's a very strong learning experience from those people. But you know, having someone come in, people come in, masters of this stuff, and really all of us being able to just get our hand dirty, building with cob, building with hay bale, straw bale, all these different architecture techniques. One of the books I've just really gotten into called The Good Life by Scott Nearing and his wife, and they were doing this stuff in like the 1930s, where they left New York City, they moved to Vermont, they bought an orchard full of maple trees and started doing sugar, but they really designed their life around working 6 months, basically having 6 months off. Like pretty much all their resources came from the land, so they built with the local stone, they built with the local timber, and it's just really amazing what you can do with what you've got when you have creativity at your disposal. So all this is to say, what I would like to do and what I would like to source the collective on is to come up with a way for people who have the land to do these kind of event to infrastructure type festivals where we work our asses off during the day and then we party at night with a lot of really great music and a lot of, so what's the other thing? Solar punk. We just did the solar punk thing. Like they're all party and no work. And then like Exeterville is education. There's really, very little like hands-on. It's like, so what's the combination of these things? Like I want it to all kind of come together because I know for myself the way I learn is to like put in a hard day's work and then get rewarded with the CBD and the ayahuasca. And you don't go too hard because you gotta fucking work the next day too. So you gotta think these things, meet it out, right? But that's the vision. So again, the idea is, I bought the domain, so I'm so excited about this thing. But off-grid, what did I say? Off-grid living festival. So off-grid living festival. Turned out it was available, shockingly, so I bought it. I didn't buy the AU because Australia bought the original one, but I've got the American one. American. So anyway, if anybody's a builder in that regard, has those expertise, that level of expertise, the permaculture people, that's all part of it. The growing people, that's all part of it. And generating power and reutilizing what we consider as waste. All of these things, like, so it's closed loop, everything's working together. One system's output supports another system's input. So that's the idea, really teaching all of us to how to like work these systems, like thinking in terms of systems, so that each of these little hubs, these little community things has the potential to really grow. Because so many of us know people with like a lot of land, and it's just nothing, right? And in the meantime, we're all like figuring out, well, what are we gonna do? What are we gonna do? That guy, and this guy, and this lady, and this. So it's available. It's just about pooling these resources together and like spending time on this land and really like committing to that. Because I'm more about the what than the where. We keep having these conversations of where should we move? Where's the land? Blah blah blah. I'm like, everybody's got land. Let's just do a thing. So that's my spiel. I have akashicommunities.com. If you want to go there, you can sign up and learn about what I'm working on these projects, and then johnprofit.com. Thank you.
On that note, if anybody wants to learn how to use a 0-point mower of 10 acres, we're welcome to
Is that a ride?
lesson there.
Is that a ride?
Yeah, it's fun.
I love using that thing.
but I'd rather say this. All right, who else got something to say? We got like 35 minutes. Come on down. Yeah.
Is this kissing the mic? I just want to introduce myself real quick and just be a point of contact. A couple of people have alluded to it. I'm a psychedelic integration coach, done coaching for about 10 years. About 2 years ago, came off of all of my BA medications, amongst other things, integrating psychedelics, so ayahuasca as well as psilocybin, peyote, etc. So if that's of interest to you or to have a conversation around that topic, we can save that for the meet and greet afterwards. You can learn more about me at joshsearbaugh.com, CEARBAUGH. If you're streaming, just contact at joshsearbaugh.com. Would love to extend the conversation. It's changed my life, healed my mind, gave me freedom, etc. Love to extend that to everybody else in the group.
Woo! Yeah. Echo Cologne, who's part of the South Austin group, she's doing psychedelics in recovery. If there's anybody that's struggling with addiction, psychedelics are a great tool to help find peace and overcome that as well. All right, does anybody else want to share? Got any thoughts, comments, problems, ideas? Bruce has something. Come on, Bruce. Bruce has some honey.
Who knows what kind of honeybee doesn't have a stinger?
A dead one.
Come on, there's a honeybee that doesn't have a stinger.
Democrat bee.
What? No. Wrong. Here you go.
All right. Bruce is always buzzing around at these meetings. He's so sweet. All right, anybody else have anything to share?
Dad jokes.
Okay, potatoes. A lot of those. Okay, so yeah, come on down. Come on down. My fiance used to give me a hard time about some of the jeans that I would wear. She'd say, John, those are dad jeans. I'm like, I'm dad. Of course.
You're very stylish now.
How are you?
Hey, I'm Paul River Richardson, and my partner Imani is on call outside, so I was going to wait till the end so she came in, but I figured you guys want to get on. We're with Haven Earth, and we're working a lot with him. We're helping people kind of with the infrastructure of communities and starting up projects. We're kind of relocating our business down to Texas right now. We're also joining Derek at the Greater Reset in Mexico in January. So we're going to chat with you guys. But I don't want to go into too much. You can check out our website, www.havenearth.biz. We're offering different courses. We're going to be running some hemp building workshops in the new year in the Austin area. So we started in March, April, May time. Really about connecting people around agronomics, about what it really takes to create successful community. I traveled extensively internationally and saw a lot of communities around the world, and Anastasia communities in Russia, how a lot of these communities are kind of going back to nature with some idea that we're just going to grow our food, sing kumbaya around the fire, and everything's going to work out, we're going to get on. It's just, kind of this old hippie ideology, and we kind of see how that's really created a pattern where we're afraid to actually join community, be part of community. We're all like, hey, I've got my 2 acres and my 10 acres, and I've got my guns, and everything's going to be fine. But we're really trying to talk on that in terms of the reality. We just spent some time with some amazing folk today who we connected with yesterday. They've got some land out in Bertram, and looking at how to support them in developing their land in ways that really encourage community, but are not forcing community. How we set up these infrastructures. We ourselves set up a 508, a Ministry of Nature, and a PMA, which really kind of stepping out of this public domain into the private world. And then, as you guys are obviously saying about connecting everybody and creating these networks in a new kind of decentralized system, creating the parallel timeline, so we don't have to engage in that system anymore. And a lot of that's going to be back around agriculture and how we come to the land and the areas that we look for that have had that potential before And now we can come back and engage in the larger community, not just our little own bubble. And there's a tendency with intentional community to go out there thinking, I'm just gonna like build fences around my property, we're gonna, do our thing in the community, and that's another big element that's created a failure in a lot of communities is their inability to interact and connect with the larger community. You go down to Mexico and you have a gated expat community, you're like, where we target, it's like, how do we start integrating? So I don't want to take too much time. We'll be sharing a lot more in the Greater Reset. And we just wanted to, this is our first time from the Freedom Cells meeting. Some familiar faces from some other meetings we've been to, and we just had a little immersion down in Brookshire with some people kind of in our community, just kind of unpacking, the elements of community that need to happen. Because it's really got to come from the inside out. I mean, I'm an architect, a bio-architect that built a lot of projects around the world, but that's just the practical elements. And I think we can figure that out, right? We've been doing that for a long time. But how do we figure out the internal elements and how do we come together with purpose to start engaging on, communing on the living soil? Because community is tainted actually. The whole idea of community, I prefer village or communing. How do we commune again together? So just wanted to share that. Thanks for giving me the opportunity, John. I've got business plans, but anyone has me afterwards.
You're presenting at the Greater Reset. Yeah. Okay, cool. Yeah, you're gonna do like a workshop.
Yeah, we're gonna do a hemp workshop down there.
Cool. All right. All right, give it up. Okay, all right. Well, anybody else have anything to say? I sure do. All right, so just to recap quickly, we are the Central Texas Freedom Cell Network. I'm so grateful that each and every one of you are a part of it. I do think that there are a lot of very talented, visionary people in our ranks, and there's no reason why, if we don't believe in ourselves, if we don't adopt the right strategy, if we don't find the other like-minded people and work cooperatively, and if we don't take massive action, I don't see any reason why we can't create the free world that we all desire. It's just going to take a lot of work. I want to remind you of the big goal that we laid out today. We laid it out and we all adopted it. 10,000 people in the Central Texas Freedom Cell Network by the end of 2022. I guess we can use Telegram as a metric, right? Don't go create a bunch of sock accounts, fake accounts. Look how many people I recruited today. And our goal was for everyone to recruit 2 people a month. 2 people. Bring them onto the Freedom Cell group, invite them to a meeting. Anytime someone talks about mandates or vaccines or let's go Brandon, whatever, just mention, hey, well, I belong to this group. It's called the Freedom Cell Network. We meet regularly. It really is just like-minded people working together on common goals. What do you guys do? Homeschooling, a lot of gardening, a lot of eco-building, and we're really trying to create a better world for ourselves and for future generations. It's not going to be all extreme or weird. Just people coming together to work on common goals. Great people that get what's going on in the world. So 2 people every month, and we're going to keep meeting every other month. We'll do like a business kind of meeting, and then we'll do a social meeting. Everyone will show up to a great time, and I'm super excited to see. There's like over 70 people here today, probably like 80 people, and I think that's awesome, really cool. So thank you everybody for joining us. We have the space for about 30 more minutes, so I think we can just convene and network and hang out and commune and get to know one another and do some networking. And let's grow this movement. Let's support one another. All right, thank you, everybody.
Broadcast.